Team Mog.
Time.
That's it for Team Mog, yeah.
Go Team Mog.
Congratulations, camper.
Congrats.
And now we've got Koinu just coming into the contest of Aeons, and Grey Fox won't be far behind.
And now we're switching to FF4 on Team Mog stream.
Yeah, Team Mog should be switching to FF4. You'll hear from the wonderful commentators once we get through the FF10 runs.
So while we're still here, I want to say good luck to the FF4 commentators and runners.
There's a rogue mouse.
The mouse is there for RNG manip. if there's something that you don't understand, it's for RNG manip. That's how these FF games work, guys.
Yeah, so the way these contest of Aeon fights are working is we are throwing poison fangs, and for Valahor and Shiva, they're going to kill in one. For Ixion and Ifrit, they are a damage roll, and if they don't hit, then we're just going to throw another item at them. And then for Bahamut, we throw an item, and then Kamari self-destructs. So not too much longer on these two runs.
What's interesting from the other perspective, for anyone in chat who doesn't know about the any percent version of this battle, what we do is, so normally in any percent we rely a lot on like Bahamut at one point to like one-shot most enemies, but because we can't use them here, we instead decide to throw money. So we actually have Yuna learn the spare change ability, and we throw money at the Aeons to kill them.
Yeah, some might say it's pay to win. But I'm glad they did no Spear Grid this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
it's
been a really good and interesting run.
Yeah, I was surprised when it was announced that it was going to be no Spear Grid. Which means next year we gotta go for Nemesis percent, right?
Oh boy, I've just seen the time camper did in the Discord, and he absolutely crushed this run.
Oh, what a good run, Fat PB.
Continuing the PB train.
Wow.
But I don't think they can accept it.
That's a 9-minute PB. No, they could.
No, he didn't local record, so
He didn't local record it.
That's true.
So he wouldn't have the recorded load remover.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I guess it's a little. Yeah, that's true. It would be harder for something like this. I know. Oh man, it was 15. I think Final Fantasy 15. A couple years ago, somebody set a world record during the relay that was submitted to the boards for. I think that was like
wow! Actually, that's such a feels bad moment. I believe we just saw a world record for camper. Is that world record? Let me take a look at this.
It's pretty close if it's not.
It is a world record. That was world record that we just witnessed on stream, guys. GG's the camper.
Yeah, it beats world record by almost 30 seconds.
30 seconds?
It's like
Yeah.
28 or something.
Can we not have a small exception for the boy? It was world record.
No, Steve.
You're right.
I mean, I'd be willing to accept it, but I'm not a mod on the board, so.
Well, I did not think that we would get a world record in the relay, so that is very impressive.
Yeah,
Some major shout outs.
that is an incredible run. No wonder
it was pretty wild. It was pretty wild.
No wonder he pulled out so much time. Kamara getting the crit on Bahamut with the self-destruct. And it's actually way more likely for this self-destruct crit than the GUI one, because Bahamut has 1 luck here. So, which have a decent crit chance. So, Koinu is now transferring into the final cutscene before the final boss. So, this should be again roughly 2 minutes until Team Choco is done. So we're going to be done in the next sort of 3 to 4 minutes with all the 10 runners. So just before we disappear and the FF4 guys take over, I just want to say thanks to all the 10 runners, the 10 commentators, and good luck to all of the 4 runners and 4 commentators for the run coming up.
Okay.
Huh? Yeah, same here. I also just want to throw one last shout out to the Final Fantasy speedrun communities and their discords. If you ever decide to, if this like run inspires you to pick up FF10 or any of the Final Fantasy games, all the speedrunners in the community are willing to help newbies out. So go and join the FF Discord and find. And if you want to run 10, find the Blitzball haters club.
I forget we call it the Blitzballers haters club.
I'm saying goodbye.
All right, Team Choco, be ready.
I know it's selfish, but this is my story.
And Koinu has a Oron weapon here, so it's guaranteed to get the zombie strike. I mean, though there is a small chance to miss, but that's a different thing.
White numbers, that's what you want to see. Fiends
and
down.
Team
Time.
Choco,
Team Choco
done.
go.
Oh, and we also get a PB from Koinu, who was the Team Choco representative. GG's.
Nice.
Everybody's PBing. Grey Fox here, top right, still has one last hurdle, which is his zombie touch weapon. So we'll see how many attacks he'll take. Nice, he got it. Okay. GG's all around.
GG's all around.
Team Tonberry go.
Yes, go Team Tonberry. GG's everyone. I guess that's pretty much it for our time.
Yeah, GG's everyone. One final thank you from myself, and I think we'll hand over to the FF4 guys now.
Good luck at the 4 team.
Yeah, good luck. Thank you all. It's been a blast. We'll see you. Come run our game. We'll help.
And hello. Welcome on into some Final Fantasy IV, everyone. I'm bdude, joined by...
elmagus here. I hope I'm not too quiet or too loud. Please don't hit me. We had a bit of audio trouble earlier, but hope everything is set up nice and dandy.
So following up on a world record and a PB, that's going to be a little bit rough. Especially since this game just got patched about a little over a week ago, where they made it so we lose 30% experience per battle. Enemies attack faster. And so with those two things included, we need to fight more fights as well as needing to, or we end up taking a whole lot more damage on a lot of fights. Just because we're slower.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate timing, honestly, with the relay coming up that this patch dropped and everybody was panicking, oh my god, we can't even beat the final boss. But the runners have been working tirelessly to make sure that they can do it, and the strategies have been refined. And unfortunately, also this means the run is about 10, 15, 20 minutes longer. But hey, we get more content, I guess, so that's good.
A little more content, and a lot of the fights include a little more strategy now, just a lot of stacking slows, a lot more timing of stuff, since a lot of the pixel remasters require a lot of auto battle and kind of let the gameplay for you, but honestly this patch kind of took a bit of that out. Not a lot of it, but some of it. So it's catching up on where we all are. It looks like we still have the intro going on with Nicky and Rupan. Zik is just going through the good old, he beat the Mist Dragon. We'll be going over that once Nicky or Rupan get to that point. A lot of the battles that we get into, we run away from. There's a few where we'll pick up just for a little extra experience. Most of the time we would have not taken them, but because of that needing experience, we need to take a few here and there, which is a little unfortunate, but it is what it is now.
Yep, can't do much about it.
There's also a lot more stuff that we pick up from what we used to do. Just a little extra money, a little extra safety stuff as well. There's one thing I should actually mention is the pixel remasters allow you to sprint in this game, which you couldn't do in the SNES. I believe you could do in the GBA version as well.
Yeah.
So movement is quite a bit quicker than in the SNES version, which makes it a little more bearable, because that's the one thing about the SNES version where it feels like it drops down in speed. So Zik is going to be coming up on a scripted fight here. This one's not too tough, especially with the way that the auto-targeting works. He can pretty much auto-battle his way through it. Auto-battle making your battles go about 50% faster. So if you can use it at basically any point possible, you're going to want to use it. You'll see them use auto-battle at the beginning of a fight to get the fight just started sooner, as soon as the fade-in happens. And then after you get the runaway, you'll also do it, so that you can get the fade out a little bit quicker as well.
Yeah, it actually fades out faster and fades in faster when you have auto battle active, which is pretty interesting, to be honest. But yeah, that's how it works for all pixel remasters, I believe.
Yeah, there is also an option. It's kind of runner specific, but you can choose to carry on auto battle or continuous auto battle. So if you finish off a fight with auto battle, it'll start up again on the next one. So it saves you. It basically gets you that frame one auto battle to get a fight going. There are some boss fights where it's a little bit weird where it does start with that. So you kind of have to know beforehand when it's going to pop in and when it's not going to pop in, and it throws you off for the first couple of times. So Zik's just getting just beat up some commanders there. Gonna go see his girl Rydia before we go head to the cave where we start. That's one of the first places where we pick up a little extra experience early on. There is and I'm sure elmagus actually knows a little bit more about this, the whole Shadow Party experience mechanic.
Oh yeah, it's a good one. So Shadow Party experience in this game specifically, that's a mechanic where once you had a party member and they leave the party, they'll be in the background. They'll be the game will remember that you had that character, and every experience point you gain from then onwards, even though they are not in your party, they will still get that experience. And if they rejoin you later, that's how they got the levels they are at. So you can preemptively gain experience for them as well, and you have to plan for that to reach certain level thresholds with characters that later rejoin you.
Now, it's a little less imperative in this version versus the SNES version since speed works a little bit differently, so it's not a end-all be-all for every single character, but you will see them try and use it without losing a whole bunch of time trying to do it. The one big one you'll kind of see it on is on Scar Melee. I'm just going to call him Scar because I can never say that guy's name.
It's Milon. To call him Milon.
Yeah,
Fine.
it's Milon and Milon Z to me. I still talk about Valvalis all the time. It's it's the SNES in me.
They don't have other names.
Yep.
Exactly.
So right now Zik is looking for basically one specific encounter that gives a lot of experience. I believe it's the 3 piranhas because you can kill them with 1 attack, and that will get you the most amount of experience for the least amount of work. I haven't actually paid attention too much if he's actually got it or not, but as long as you get at some point between getting Tella and before the next boss, you're fine.
Yeah, we did kill one.
Okay, we did. Okay, perfect. That just gives a little bit of experience for everyone in the party. Well, I think it's mostly just for Cecil to be a little bit stronger and a little bit faster.
You need it for Cecil to reach level 13 after Octomom, which gives him a huge damage boost.
There you go.
Yeah.
Another thing to think about for this game is, unlike the SNES, where all the enemy speeds were based off of Cecil's speed, it looks like all the enemy speed is kind of individual of each other, so we're not going to be playing around with Cecil's speed a whole bunch, just as much as just trying to keep up everyone's individual speed up. So it's not going to be a whole bunch of like throwing on the Dwarf Axe on him or whatever else. It'll end up going on Kane later on. And we'll end up probably throwing Cat Claws on Edge and Young for a little bit of extra speed to get a little bit quick runaways. Zik was playing around with that earlier today. And one big thing that the runners got aware of, I think it was yesterday, is run buffering in this game is really good. It will halt the enemy's ATB, well, halt everyone's ATB while the cannot run appears on the top, so it's good for bosses. It gives you a little extra time to get some inputs in so you don't have that ATB leakage. And there's a bunch of bosses where you kind of need to be a little bit tighter on it because that leakage can really start to hurt you later on.
Yeah, these run buffers also work on all pixel remasters, so if you're running one of those, you might want to investigate them. They are pretty good.
So if you look over on Team Choco here, we're doing the Mist Dragon fight, and it's a bit of a timing on you can get a few jumps in, attack with Cecil, then you're going to have to wait a little bit. We auto battle all through this just to get a little bit through a little bit quicker. Wait for the Mist, and I believe it's 2 or 3 defends, and then she'll pop up. You can usually see a little bit of the halting of the ATB to kind of let you know what's about to pop through, and away you go to try and attack as soon as possible. Should be a 2 cycle unless you get damage rolled on it, then you kind of get the 3rd.
Actually, since the new update, like, you see them turning into Mist twice.
Oh, okay. Thank you, update.
Too fast.
Thanks for faster enemy ATB.
Yeah, too fast.
Now for Octomem, I've seen 2 different strategies for this, where you either just have Cecil attack, and you just wait for Rydia and Tella to die. If Tella doesn't die near the end of it, he'll end up using fire on himself. I've seen Rupan use the Hermes shoes on Cecil to be a little bit quicker.
That's a pretty popular strategy in Japan in general.
Yeah, it's
the Hermes shoes.
I think the only reason some people wouldn't use it is they probably use it later on for something, but I haven't kept track of their item usage perfectly between the 3. I kind of went through all these one run each to kind of pick up what they're all doing this week. Try and learn along as they're learning.
Yeah, that's like kind of the exciting thing about this game right now, because they basically also had to relearn the entire run, like, after the patch. Like, I mean, it's not that bad, but you have to double check everything, right?
Yeah, there was, from the notes that I had pre-patch to the notes that I had post, there was a good amount of changes. Mostly menuing stuff and pickups, but it's enough. So it looks like Zik is probably going to wait until the last arm before Tella kills himself. Hoping that he just gets lucky with one more attack.
Yeah. Nice. Looks good.
So yeah, unfortunately defend is the fastest option, which means you're also taking less damage, but it's still the fastest thing that you can do. So it is what it is.
Unfortunately, stuff like row changing does not actually remember in the auto battle. It's a bit unfortunate. That would be really nice if that would work, but it doesn't.
And especially with the way that rows work in this game, where everyone would go, so you'd basically be swapping Cecil away too, even if you were to keep it memorized.
Yep.
Also, with on Rupan's screen, with the Rydia fight, you don't want to auto battle straight through because you'll end up hitting her, and then you just make it take a little bit longer. So you have to kind of wait that little bit until she actually brings out the Titan. Get a defend in there, and then auto battle is pretty much the fan favorite. And then you'll have some fights that you can't auto battle through, which you'll see on a 6th screen coming up here. The Tella vs. Edward fight, you just have to watch it at slow speed. Which is interesting because with some pixel remasters like 6, when you have Terra early on killing stuff with the Magitech armor, you can auto battle that one for some reason.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, you're right.
It's one of the weird ones where I'm like, why can I auto battle this, but I can't auto battle these other ones? But you know, I didn't make the game.
There's
so
a
we
lot
went to
of
that.
oddities in these pixel remasters.
There,
But,
yeah. So we picked up a few items over just inside the castle here. Some runners will pick. Well, I think they all have been picking up the holy arrow. Some use it for the grind. Some use it for just later on when we get Rosa. That's another runner-specific thing. The grind has been pretty interesting to see how everyone takes it, because each runner does a little bit something different, which is pretty fun.
He said the line. The spoony bard. Is there still the 64 floor skip in the PR? No, that's not. Sadly. That'd be fun.
That would be pretty, especially with the sprint function. Ooh. And the faster fade in, fade out now, too. That was one of the things that they added.
That would also mean that potentially, if that was in this one, that could also be in all others. So like that would be great.
Oh, that would be amazing.
I would sign up for that.
They've already found a whole bunch of like out of bounds stuff with 6 as it is. Eddie has been going pretty crazy in that game. So we'll see if Nikki here can find her grind fight that she's looking for. It looks like she's going to be taking the 3 shell and the water bug. Not the fastest one, but it's not terrible. It's basically a 2-turn with trying to kill the water bug at the end.
Yeah, this one has good XP actually, because the water bug is harder to kill.
Yeah, sadly the water bug is a damage roll. It has 125 HP and it will heal itself if you don't one-shot it, but I got lucky, so... That was nice. Yeah, in the relay I'm not trying to desperately go for the fishes.
Gotta be a bit more liberal, yeah.
And one of the worst things that I think they've changed in this game is the hovercraft movement.
Oh, yeah.
The slowest thing that they've added, just painfully slow.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of good stuff to pick up in here as well. You'll find some spider silk, some Antarctic winds. All are going to be used on bosses or some stuff in the Fabul Gauntlet.
Yeah. Spider silks in particular are very useful.
Since slow stacks in this game, and we're going to need to slow a lot of stuff down since we're going to be lower leveled and everything got a little bit faster, we're going to need that speed increase.
Mm-hmm. Desperately. But as you may guess, like the SNES version for FF4 doesn't have all these fancy items. They fortunately decided to like release it in the West with all of these fancy like combat items and everything. Would have been kind of a letdown if they didn't, but yeah, we got a whole lot of fancy stuff that we can work with.
Yeah, the SNES version kind of became the peasant version.
I mean, it does have some nice things in it, but yeah.
Alright, so Antlion is basically we used to make it so that Cecil and Edward, or Cecil would try and kill Rydia and Edward pretty much as soon as possible, and then just go. Now we basically just let Antlion try and do all the work here. We also throw in some chocobos, which we didn't used to do. And then you're kind of hoping that Edward doesn't end up doing the hide ability.
Yeah, so Antlion has 1000 HP and counters physical attacks with the counter horn, which is actually stronger on other versions than this one, but yeah, I mean... I think 6 RNG is not that great.
This is about average from what I've seen, which is kind of funny. I've seen some people put Edward to slot 5 instead of slot 4 just to be in the front row and take that little extra damage.
Yeah.
Also, I think they're easier to hit in the front row, but I'm not 100% on that.
Bye, Rydia.
Now, this is kind of the part where you're like, oh, okay, never mind. I guess Edward just lives. I was hoping to see if we kind of got some good rolls that Edward didn't do the hide ability.
So, by the way, so that characters do not actually get experience, and the experience you get for the entire fight is, like, divided by the surviving characters. Now, we mentioned the Phantom characters. They always receive the full amount of experience that is displayed, which is, pretty, interesting. Faster!
Oh, this is just, it's painfully slow.
Faster! But you can move diagonally. That makes up for it, right?
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah.
Like, this has to move like half the speed.
Ooh, I think Nicky is having a very good Octoman fight here. Yeah. Cecil is very healthy, and we are just gonna watch him tear down Octoman.
Yeah, both of them going down by 4 arms. Not bad.
Yeah. Very good. Rupan also entering Octoman. There's
One difference you could see was they both put Tella to slot 5, whereas I believe Zik kept it in slot 3.
I think also had slot 5.
There you can see Rupan using the Hermes sandals.
Yeah, this is actually a glitchless strat from the SNES version that is very popular in Japan. Because they did get the items. We Western plebs, of course, we were too many items. Couldn't actually handle that.
Yeah, small brain couldn't do it.
No.
So I think they fixed it in the Pixel Remaster version, but back in the SNES version, you didn't want Edward to be in... Don't remember if it was the back row or a certain slot, because he had troubles hitting.
Yeah. So in the SNES version, it's if you are not in the middle slot, your accuracy suffers. And that means that if he misses too much on this next fight that Zik is about to do, he could actually die.
Now, in this version, it seems like it goes a little bit quicker. A little bit easier to hit. I mean, you can also auto-battle it through, so you just kind of watch it happen. The only thing you have to remember to do is the text on the top you can mash through. So make sure that you're hitting all those buttons while it's going through, or else that... It still auto-plays through, but it's a little bit slow.
Interesting. They didn't patch that. In FF5, for instance, they patched it so you can't mash through like this type of text anymore. Fascinating.
Are you telling me that there's inconsistencies amongst the Pixel remasters?
There might be. I don't know. I read that in FF5 the Gilgamesh text and everything can't be meshed through anymore.
Oh, just specifically Gilgamesh?
Yeah, all Gilgamesh battles. I don't know. Yeah.
Rupan's Tella has taken, like, no damage.
Yeah, he's trying to... Or was trying to menu kill him off there. Had to help a little bit. Unfortunate. That being said, since he has the Hermes sandals, he also automatically, of course, dealt damage a little bit faster, so that might have been a side effect from that.
Possibly, yeah. Alright, so Mount Ordeals. Pretty quick. The next up boss fight does take a little bit of timing, but it's not too terrible. There's nothing specific that we really take along here as far as fights or items or anything. You basically just go from point A to point B. Now, I've seen, just watching Rupan here, some of the runners take certain items. I think Rupan ended up taking all the items, I think probably just for money, since you're kind of there in that treasure trove area as well. See if he ends up opting for that at this run.
Not true. Oh, he doesn't even say it in this version. That is lame.
Most of the other items are like small status healing items that you rarely use, like Gold Needle is one that I remember.
I guess it's nice to
Maybe
have
just a
in-
backup.
Yeah, it's nice to have in a marathon run type of deal.
And not a super terrible idea to do. I mean, you're there and it's like an extra 2-3 seconds to just pick everything up. Just in the event that.
Exactly. Think about how far you can get in that time with the hovercraft.
Oh, I feel the pain. Alright, so Bomb. Need to do... We're basically counting some damage here before it starts to blow up. It should reduce the amount of damage that the explosion does, I believe. And then after that, we're going to be throwing an hourglass on to stop everything. And then it's basically the... Well, I've kind of seen some splits on this too. Either just the Cecil show using darkness, or else the Cecil Yang show doing darkness and the kicks.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume whoever lives gets to do stuff.
Looks like so. Here we go. We wait for the explode. Okay, you can't queue up the hourglass. I wasn't sure if it did some funky
Targeting, yeah.
targeting. Yeah. Ooh, almost went for a focus. Then you can get damage roll, but it looks like you got through, so pretty easy fight.
Yep.
Now let's see how Nicky's Antlion goes. Since all Zik's going to be doing is just walking his way over to Fabul, hopefully not getting beat up by a whole bunch of enemies. Usually that Bomb fight can weaken the party up pretty good. It is interesting, like I said, we didn't use the Chocobo kick before, but just that little extra damage seems to make up for it.
There was actually a small time before the update where we also grinded and got those levels for Rydia. That was also like clearly faster and helpful.
Chocobo is pretty good because you don't get the counter attack from Antlion, so you don't have the double animation.
Yeah. Back then also Rydia got like all the Octomom XP, so she was like level 7, while now she is level 4 or 5.
Basically dead weights after this part.
I think he's getting some good rolls here. Seen a lot of like 115s, 120s. Alrighty. Rupan's just making his way up there. We also grabbed this emergency exit. I forgot to mention this. We grabbed the emergency exit inside the Antlion cave here. Takes out a whole bunch of backtracking. Probably one of the better spots to use it. There's nowhere else early on, at least, that you'd really want to use it, because you basically go from point A to point B, but here you go to the entrance and back to the entrance.
You'll later on also have a lot of casters that knows the exit spell, and in the Pixel Remaster version you rarely even have dungeons that you can exit. They patched most of those. Badly.
Alright, so
they care
here...
about the games. I don't understand.
They wanted to increase the amount of content.
Yeah.
So you saw Zik throw an item on the first Fabul fight. Just kind of kills off the guards pretty quick. I believe we have enough items to do that for most of the 3 guards fights. just to make them a little bit quicker. I believe the other pack of the Sahagin, General Imp, and I don't remember what the other thing is. There we go.
The Medusa type of thing. But yeah, I mean, the Fabul Gauntlet is actually, if you didn't have the items, they can deal, especially like the soldiers, can deal quite a big amount of damage. So, can go south pretty fast if they get too many turns. Rupan is out of the Antlion cave as well, while Zik is going into the third fight of the Gauntlet. You tried Edward, 11 damage, very good.
Edward's just out here doing his best.
Oh, 30 damage.
Doesn't get to use those beautiful dancing daggers we do in the SNES version.
Yeah, we can see though, Cecil was pretty low there already.
Actually, I believe we looked even at dancing dagger early on, and they ended up nerfing that pretty hard where it wasn't even worth it anyways.
Yeah.
I think this fight in the Gauntlet has always been just the easiest one. Mostly because I don't even know what this gargoyle can really do.
If you give it too many turns, it will cast weak, actually, which is not ideal. But since we have the arrows, they are exceptionally weak to arrow attacks, and that you see Edward actually did damage there. Okay, looks like we are getting through here just fine.
Cecil being close to death is kind of scary because he's kind of like the only one you don't really... I mean, Yongi also don't want to be dead, but Cecil's kind of the most important one at this point in time. Well, luckily we kept that Antarctic win. Easy win on that. And I think they changed the strats now where we used to self-attack in the Kane fight, but now we just let Kane do his thing and auto-battle of our way through it.
The update did something good. We don't need to die in this fight anymore.
Just X amount of turns and call it a day.
Just 3 turns.
Oh, look at that. Nice.
I think that's even faster than what like a SNES version would be like.
Oh yeah.
Unless you can get a 2-turn in there, but I don't think so. You need some really good rolls.
Yeah, you can, but it's unlikely.
I know there was a little bit of talk early on, and I don't know if it's worth the actual menuing or anything, but there was talk on how punching the Sahagin was faster than the Harp. But depends on kind of what your strats are for Antlion and such. But that was a little thing as well a few months ago. Just to save some animation time.
You know what else would save animation time? Not having to look at this hovercraft. Jeez.
Luckily this is the last time we have to see it for like an hour. And then we only need to move it like 15 squares afterwards, so we're basically done through suffering this. The airship and everything else moves pretty quick.
Alright, Nicky
Chocobos
on,
are...
Nicky on Mom Bomb here. Bye, Rydia. Yeah, looks like we're pretty okay here. The only thing you want to avoid, kind of, is like your 2 big guys taking too much damage here. That can technically cause problems, but it's unlikely to happen.
You would need to be extremely unlucky for someone to actually get like really low. And being smart and making sure that either Edward or Rydia or Rosa using the hourglass so you can get into attacking right aways.
Easy.
Auto battle to win, baby. That's all you need.
Rupan not far behind, going into the 3 in battle. I don't actually know if in this one you have different outcomes depending on damage rolls that Yang does. Probably, I would guess, but I'm not sure.
You do.
Oh, nice. Because yeah, Yang can take varying amounts of time depending on how much damage he does here, and it's all random then as well here.
He did. So ever since the update, I've just not seen a fast fight ever.
And
That's
weirdly enough, it's
kind of the theme here too. I don't think I've seen one fast fight.
and that Yang fight you cannot auto battle through. You have to watch it at normal speed. Because reasons. So Rupan going into the mom bomb fight. See how this ends up going. Everyone's had a pretty clean fight on this one so far. Getting some pretty good rolls.
Yeah. Yeah, fortunately most bosses in the early game are weak to Darkness Elemental, which like Cecil as a Dark Knight has, of course, Dark Elemental on his weapons. So Mom Bomb and Octomom, for instance, are weak to Darkness both. Otherwise the fights would be a little bit more difficult.
It is kind of funny how at least early game, you know, Cecil's dark and they make everything kind of weak to dark, and then he becomes a paladin. Then it seems like a lot of stuff is really weak to holy for a while.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what they did. Yeah.
And then even you go into a place where there's a whole bunch of ice enemies. Hey, here's a fire sword. You go into a place with some fire enemies. Hey, here's an ice sword. Oh, thanks, game.
Yeah.
But pretty clean fight, and now Zik is going to start getting into, well, I guess we're going to be walking to Mount Ordeals pretty soon here, where it can get a little fun with you start thinking about your Shadow Party experience a little bit, while also not giving up too much time for it.
Spoilers, we're gonna meet up with most of the people we lost.
This game is just the biggest got 'em for you think people are dead and then they're not dead. I still don't know how I feel about it.
They compensated for FF2.
Nicky having actually a really clean gauntlet so far. Taking almost no damage. So there is a little bit of shopping that you gotta do for the twins. I didn't actually see if Zik does it now or if he does it before. It doesn't super matter, but you may want to make sure you do it before you leave Mysidia. Get a couple of rods, a couple of helmets. Yeah, looks like we're going to go do it now.
Yep.
There's also, actually, this is one of the big shops, I believe, where you're going to sell a whole bunch of stuff so you can buy a bunch of your items. Almost clean house. Get on some of the stuff we have now. I believe we do an item arrange just so that things are kind of in a more consistent spot, since you can't really do... Well, you can't do any battle item arrangement like you can in the SNES version, so you have to kind of just deal with whatever the range actually gives you. Like I said, we're pretty much gonna clean out a lot of stuff. We want to keep some iron stuff for later on, but basically anything that Cecil used, gone. Which, a lot of his stuff sells for quite a good money, too.
Still weird to me to see Potion and High Potion here instead of Cure 1 and Cure 2.
It looks weird to me, too. I'm still not used to 6 having Potion and High Potion instead of Tonic and Potion.
Yeah.
What do you mean that Potion only healed for 50? Supposed to be 250.
Alright, Nicky had a pretty reasonable gauntlet, I would say. Pretty okay. Rupan is making its way through as well.
Yeah, I really like using the items on these fights just because it makes it so much safer and quicker.
Yeah. Safer is the biggest thing, honestly.
It's like those are the guys that tend to deal probably the most amount of damage consistently. Especially with the team that we have now, we can't just kill 2 of them right off the hop. Especially after that update. Oh, the crit? Alright, so we're not going to worry about taking in encounters on the way up Mount Ordeals, but coming down we're going to be... It's one of the bigger early game grinds. But for now we just go point A to point B. I don't think we even pick up anything. There's a few things that we pick up on the way down. That might also be a runner specific thing that I know there's like an ether and something else that we end up using later on.
Yeah, just ethers.
Just
Up to
ethers.
2,
We need that MP!
depending on how many you want to get.
Whack.
We're all kind of in cutscenes in all 3 points right now. Now, I know just looking at Nicky's screen here, we used to pick up the Bacchus's cider in working your way down from the king. We don't do that now anymore. End up changing it out for... I'm not 100% sure on that. I'd have to look through the notes again, but I just know we don't pick it up anymore.
I
That was the
believe
thing we
it has to do with the... I think we used it in the Barbarisha fight, if I recall correctly. Which currently works a bit... we are going back to an older strat.
Yeah, that's about the time in the run where you really start feeling that enemies are faster, I assume.
It is one of the fights which I personally would like to reroute, but since it is so close to the relay, you also don't want to like open the big barrel of new strats because you just want to get safely through.
Oh, Zik is having a little bit of a rough time.
Out of sync. Oh, dang. Refresh.
3 attacks right off the hop, all on Porum, is pretty rough. The fact that Porum actually took 3 to die is already pretty good, because you can, they can die in 2 pretty easily.
Very good damage roll.
So this is one of the fights we're going to kind of micromanage a little bit on the HP a little bit, since we want to try and have most people dead except Tella by the end of the next one. If at all possible. This is one of those ones where as long as you're not wasting too much time doing it. But,
There's no way this is real life.
God.
There's no way this is real.
This is pretty
They
brutal, I
must
ain't
have
gonna lie.
buffed his magic. I mean, that's not normal. In this NES version, you do not take that much damage from that one.
Alright, he's spread it out a little bit more at least. Remember, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. So now we can actually do the kill setup here and
What's happening?
move on with life. Now this fight, the backup one, or the back attack one, is a lot easier, because now he's undead. So all we need to do is Cecil kill self. I guess not. And then you just throw the good old elixir and dead.
I worked out splendidly. Smiley face.
Exactly how we drew it up.
This fortunately works in this version. It doesn't work in every version of this game. I am sad to report.
I'm
Other
glad it
versions don't
works.
have that elixir chest, for example.
This is also true. This is also true. Not all versions do have that elixir chest.
I think that fight would be extremely brutal if we weren't able to do that.
Yeah.
You have
hits.
Pyro on Palom.
Yeah, he hits pretty hard, but you can also kill him pretty fast.
I'm just thinking of the speed update now would make it pretty rough. You'd be having a lot of healing going on. Although we've kind of glass cannoned through a lot of this as it is. Kind of.
I do wonder if this game still has only 1000 HP on the Dark Knight and you could technically kill him. It's obviously not worth it with auto battles especially, but...
With the experience that we end up getting down mount ordeals, yeah, probably not worth it. Because I was like, 3 days ago, I found out that you can just high potion a Lilith and it dies. Because I was not aware that it was undead.
Yeah, almost everything on this mountain is actually undead.
That's why I was like, oh, that's my I feel stupid moment. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I guess that would work.
Lilith grinding is a very popular strategy, actually. It's always been, especially in glitchless runs, it's been part of the strats, usually.
See, because we're going to be going down this... Most people end up going down with a solo Cecil. And if you attack Lilith, she'll hit you with Slap, which can paralyze you. And then you just watch yourself get beat up on. And it's not a good time. Alright, so it looks like Zik is in fact going for the Holy Arrow strats. And then putting Cecil in the back just to take a whole lot less damage. And opening Lilith, you'll have to see it. So to get ourselves a little extra experience, just take a nap there, Tella. You're fine.
Level 12.
Even casually, you always feel like a boss coming down here because you're like, look at all the... Oh, okay. Well, now we're in the front row on a back attack.
Well...
And you can see the battle speed really doing its toll. I mean, that would have happened anyways, but...
Yeah.
We'll try again. I think we try to take about 4 packs along the way down, if they're good packs.
Currently level 17 from what I know, but I mean, I don't know if they have changed it up a bit.
I'm guessing also depends on how much or what packs you get.
Yeah, I mean, of course, that level is... If you get a lot of Liliths, then you can be done very quickly. If not, well...
There is a double Lilith encounter here, which is the ideal one to get, but yeah, it's also relatively rare, so...
That's like the rarest encounter here, yeah.
I've seen some people take it different ways where, like, Rupan will hang around on the first screen since it looks like it has the highest chance of getting the bigger packs, and he'll run around there a little bit and work his way down. Little more consistency for a little time loss, whereas some people work their way down as they try and get their fights. Hopefully they get what they need along the way. So it's pretty interesting to see how they basically do different means to the same end. Oh, these back attacks are just always rough.
Level 17 there on Zik stream.
Yeah, I know Zik likes to hang out on that second last screen and just try and get what he can there, because you seem to get better stuff. Looks like he's taking one extra one just for safety, probably.
Can't hurt. Man, arrows are so good in this version, it's great. I love it. They are already good in like other versions, but here it just takes the cake.
There's when we grab the mutate arrows later on and we hit the Mega Sisters. Oh boy.
Oh, that's a cool back attack on Rupan's screen. I love it. Love to see it.
This is This is a very much a Final Fantasy IV be-like moment. Moments, I should say, for the way that this mountain has been doing people.
Alright, Nicky is on Scarmiglione as well. Also gets like the targeting, but doesn't actually have a twin die, which is pretty nice.
I was a bit scared, so I waited a bit too long with Cecil because my rolls looked pretty low. And I got a Comet first and not double Pyro.
It can't be worse than mine.
No, it was significantly smoother. We were just spreading the love instead of, you know, just beating up on one mage the entire time.
Blink. Oh wow. I was gonna say you're allowed to die now. Oh man.
Yeah, Blink is a nice backup in order to ensure that Teller doesn't get hit anymore.
Yeah. Not the full Phantom Party experience here, nice. Very good. Look pretty clean, mostly.
It took longer than I would want it to, but yeah, that just suiciding is difficult.
Yeah.
And with Blink, at least you have a reliable backup, so...
They haven't actually changed how this game works, so this game operates actually, unlike most FFs, like... Or rather, they take from the early FFs, where you... Instead of like hitting one time, you hit multiple times, but you don't actually see it. And there can be misses in there, especially if you target own party members and stuff like that, so... Which makes damage very inconsistent, especially if you're trying to like kill off your own party members with like physical attacks and whatnot.
Just seen Rupan taking on
Ooh,
Milon now.
Yeah, close right there, but got through that one. Ooh, very high damage roll, very good, very good. Very nice fight, wow, that was great.
Pretty much how you try to draw it up in the, you know, this is what should happen. And then you see it like 1 in 10 times. Oh, the big thing is can... Oh, I see how he's going with this. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, very nice from Rupan. Past Scarmiglione. Whereas Sick is already on the next boss fight in Baron Inn. The guards died to 1 bio from Tella, and now we are going to actually fight this monk here that we totally don't know. So most versions have it where you have to just wait until a certain point and then attack 1 time, and then the fight will end automatically.
The big thing here is you can actually watch the ATB bars once you see them kind of halter a little bit. That's when you know it's your time to go in.
I didn't know if you missed, it still ends the fight.
Yep, yeah. It's just the attack commands. It's bound to.
Oh, it's always my favorite when you see miss and then Yong yells, ouch. So Nicky working on her grind on the way down here. Ooh, this is a good pack. The reason why we pick up an extra bomb fragment, because that is a lot of experience for a very little amount of work. Then, actually, so this next little bit that Zig's going to be going through is pretty simple. I think there's only like one boss I could not really throw a wrench in the plans, but just kind of make you have to adjust a little bit. And then Tella, having learned all of his spells, kind of makes this next little bit a lot simpler than it probably should be.
Yeah, while he does only have 90 MP all the time, still having access to like especially tier 3 spells is very, very good.
Okay, I know we always want to get 4 headbands and 2 Kempo Gis. just pretty much that carries us for a long part of the game.
Yeah, so headbands and Kenpo gears do give you strength, and the more strength you have, the earlier you get attack multipliers, which of course, that's why the main reason you put it on your characters, to get more damage out of it. Armor doesn't really matter too much in this game in general until the very end, where enemies become like really strong, and then you'll start know the difference when your defense goes up very high, but like, I'd say about 2/3 of the game, your armor doesn't really make a gigantic difference either way, honestly.
And then even then, you usually have the common Cecil in the back row guard strats, or cover strats, so he only gets the back row damage while people in the front row aren't taking any. On physicals, that is.
Yeah, like you mentioned, Rupan is doing the grind on top, and there's the double Lilith. Easy money.
I haven't actually seen what the experience is on this, but it's just... It's gotta be crazy, right?
Relatively.
Yeah. So the one fight in here that can kind of throw a little bit of a wrench in the plans, and it's not like a huge thing, it's just when we fight Bagan, at the end you leave his one arm alive, which can self-destruct, and depending on who it self-destructs on, it can kind of throw a little bit of your experience out of whack. Like, it's not a huge thing, but that, and then you may have to do a little extra menuing to get people up and whatever else. We want to make sure that the twins are dead for this fight, since we don't really care about their experience anymore.
But why?
Secret.
Oh. Tella got sniped there, that's no bueno.
Yeah, we want to get at least one tier 3 spell off. And we only get one off because then after that he casts Reflect on himself and then Tella is basically useless.
I've seen the run buffering, by the way.
And you don't want to kill both arms at the same time, since he'll just end up reviving both arms back and then you have to kill him again.
Yeah.
So that's why we just leave the one alive and just deal with the explosion afterwards. He does do this haste on himself a lot after the Reflect, so you end up getting some of our characters buffed, and having Young and Cecil getting hasted is pretty nice.
Perfect health setup too. Oh no, Tella died. Actually, that's probably kind of bad.
I think Tella dead is ideal.
It just revives him. It doesn't really matter.
I was just thinking experience, but yeah.
Okay, looks like Zik is just opting for Cecil to live, which, hey, that's pretty much, I guess what he was planning for. Heal Cecil, take the explosion, and then Young and Cecil get all the experience, and we're all happy, I guess. The same thing happened yesterday, and he seemed like he was pretty happy with it. So Nicky going into the guards fight as well here. It's actually nice having Tella in low HP, since when they try to attack Tella, Cecil will get in the way, block it. So I believe they can cast Mini. I don't remember if they cast Bio or not.
No.
I think they cast Mini and Pick, right?
We blinked and missed Kainazo. Sadness. So Kainazo is actually kind of a nasty boss in that he's a turtle, so he starts out with ice weakness. Like turtles in general in this game have the ice weakness, but he is the elemental archfiend of water, which means after a little while he's going to surround himself with water and then charge up for a tsunami type of attack. But at that point he's also weak to he becomes weak to lightning instead. So you just time the Sandaga from Tella there. Right, with the extra damage that you did earlier, you shouldn't be able to get damage roll and just one-shot him that way. Easy money. That's kind of a universal strat in every version of this game. Like, you pretty much do that.
Yeah, that's just like from almost day one casuals will almost think of that too.
Yeah.
Oh look, water, I'll just cast thunder. I'm like, ooh, that did a lot of damage.
Well, I guess the DS version would be a small exception. You do kind of the same thing, but a bit differently because the DS version has harder bosses and stuff, but yeah. Oh no, the twins! No!
They're fine. I'm sure they're fine. Tella's got this.
Yes or no?
I missed where Rupan was stopping off there first before he went to... Oh, he might have just come out and I just missed it. It looked like he went into a building first, but he might just been coming out of the...
Could have potentially stocked up on some items, but I also missed it. If he felt like he was low on like healing or revival, he might have like stopped real quick to stock up on that. Not sure.
So while Zik is getting his first airship, got a little bit of a cutscene slog here, and Nicky's working her way up to good old Bagan, which we'll see how she takes it compared to how Zik took it. Actually opts to swap Tella, and I think that one's Palom. I never know the difference between the two.
It is.
I got it right? Oh my goodness. It's the 50-50-90 rule, and usually if it's a 50-50 chance, 90% of the time you're wrong. So I hit that 10%, I'm so happy. So that's just front row damage, hoping that she dies a little bit quicker. Where's Palom the he one?
Palom the he.
Oh, okay. Well, 50-50-90. Let's see, maybe we're lucky and Nicky gets the haste on Cecil and Yang as well. One can only hope. Ooh.
Now looking very smooth so far.
You'll notice that Zik is actually doing a quick little detour over to Evelyn Castle as well. Bunch of good stuff here. The mute arrow is like the big immediate one. There's some good items and stuff that we'll be using on later on as well. But that mute item doing quad damage to mages absolutely decimates some stuff coming up soon.
Yep. Evelyn Castle is technically an area you're not supposed to visit until like about 40 minutes from now-ish. But you know, we don't really care too much.
Also making a little stop in for a better bow as well. Yeah.
Nicky had to heal there in the Bygin fight, but I think it's going relatively smoothly otherwise. Yep, should be good.
Yeah, it seems like that explosion doesn't tend to do more than like 400 or 500 damage, depending on how much damage you've actually done on it. I believe the self-destruct is just whatever HP it has left over.
Yeah. That is correct. Rupan is getting a lot of nasty back attacks while he's running through areas, I've noticed. Like, it's been very unkind.
It feels like pre-patch, you got a whole lot more standard battles than afterwards. And maybe it wasn't even this patch, but like one before it. And then it seemed like you kind of got more back attacks.
I also just hurt more because everything got faster.
Yeah.
Maybe it just feels that way because you just get to sit there a little bit longer watching your party slowly die.
Oh no, did you get damage rolls on Kainazo? Rude.
Yeah, the Thundaga only did like 3,500.
Ouch, that can still happen after you hit... Oh my god, that's crazy.
Yep.
If you miss the kill and he's like very close to dying, Kainazu that is, he will hide in his shell and start healing himself, and that heal is actually quite substantial, so can't have that happen too often or you are going to start running into problems.
So in this magnetic cave, we have 3 people that have magnetic gear on, so they're basically dead, but they can still take damage. So if Sid were to die, you get a game over. And if you were to put any metallic stuff on him, you would also game over.
Yep.
Which totally does not sound abusable whatsoever in the near future.
Oh no. We're just forgetting to unequip the metallic stuff, right? Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Now there's some fights in here can get pretty nasty. There's the vampire lady and I think 6 bats with it. If you get a back attack, you're sitting there forever watching all these attacks go off.
In fact, you don't even need a back attack for that anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like with patch, that's probably already enough to see it. Very notorious battle in speedruns, always has been. Oh, look at that!
Commentator curse.
I was gonna say, why did you mention it? But I was hoping. Here we are.
I'm sorry, Sick. I didn't want it to be this way.
Nice.
Rupan not having too terrible of a bag and fight. Took a little bit longer for him to go down, but... Oh, there goes Jan.
Arrows count? That's crazy.
Yeah, you can just put on a single iron arrow and you're like, I can't do it.
Yeah, so this first part of the boss in this dungeon is a cutscene scripted, normally, where you get hit a bunch and it kills you technically, but you have to watch all these spell animations and it's gigantic. If you automatically game over by just having magnetic gear on, it's just instant. Let's see. While we're waiting for Edward to play some tunes, Rupan is doing Kainazo. Hope for good damage roll here. Oh my god, that was abysmal. Oh my god. 2900, hello? He must have wrong gear, right? That cannot be right. Oh dear.
And that damaging is sadly very common.
But 2900? I mean, there has to be a limit, right? Oh man.
That's just a Final Fantasy IV damage rolls be like.
Dark Elf! Well, since we just very recently became Paladins, of course weak to light, and our weapon does good damage here. Very good damage.
And since we want to do a little extra, Berserk him up. Now he does lose his ability to cover when he's Berserked, I believe. So you kind of have to deal with the fact that, Jan could die here. I believe we want Sid and possibly Tella to be dead here, just for some good old Shadow experience.
Oh yeah, you can Hourglass this part of Dark Elf. I forgot about that, to be quite honest. But it's also vulnerable to weak, for instance. So you could just put it in single-digit HP and then be done with it. But I guess this is
a very good... He dies just so fast.
Yeah, it's a very good way to ensure that you can get a little bit more experience. Because that gives you time to, like, kill off characters if you need to.
And you do want to kill him fast, because if you get hit by that Dragon Breath, it, especially at our level, it hurts pretty bad. You'll see people start to take a knee on the first one, then after that you're sitting in a pretty terrible spot.
One of the very few places you can actually also exit out of. Or teleport, I guess, in this version. Faster, Black Chocobo! Why is every vehicle, like, actually slow? That's such a weird design choice.
Maybe they were worried that, people complained about the SNES version of the airship was a little bit tough to move, like 1 pixel, so like, alright, we made it easy. This is what you get. Rupan's just going to be getting his airship here pretty soon. Nicky's going to be heading into the magnetic cave.
Yeah, Nicky's
grabbing the
making
white
up some
chocobo.
ground. Making up some ground here. The white chocobo replenishes your MP if you miss that message, so that's a very nice way to make sure that especially Tella has like full MP going forward.
It's really good for safety strats because you can be a little bit more liberal with your move or your magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also important to note, except for all the other versions heal you after you die to Dark Elf, this doesn't. So we kinda want our MP back for that.
Yeah.
Here to say, it looks like Nicky's actually having a pretty good run through this dungeon right now, but
Don't do that!
I have to play all the sides evenly. So I probably shouldn't say what, at least in the SNES version, what we call the tower that Zik is in right now, then, eh?
It's the Tower of Zoth. What else would it be?
Back attack tower?
No! Can somebody ban this commentator?
I'm here all week, boys! Yeah, it feels a little less egregious in this version. Luckily.
You don't stop, do you?
Nah, I don't. I play 6, I live on the edge. Now, we still grab that flame sword. Unfortunately, we can't duplicate it in this version, but having 1 is still better than none, especially for how easy it is to get, and the experience you get from that fire dog.
Also slightly easier to kill here with all the XP we already got than in, let's say, for example, this SNES version where you have to jump through a little bit of a hoop to get it down, because you level a little bit less. Ooh, careful.
Yeah,
That's a lot of damage.
I know there was some talk of maybe for safety strats, it was like put people in the back row until you get to where you are and then flip them back, like this particular party we have, but you can also just heal in between and hope for the best. Autosaves are kind of your best friend in this game. It autosaves almost like every single door transition, so
Very
it's not like
sadly
it's that terrible.
Yeah.
See how Nicky's fight goes against the good old Dark Elf. Zix felt like it went pretty smooth. Then here you'll see we're putting on the Great Bow and the Mute Arrow on Cecil on Zix stream here. And you're going to see the amount of damage that it does. It's beautiful, is what it is.
Yeah, so the Magus Sisters honor their name. They are all mages, so they are going to take quadruple damage from the Mute Arrows.
And luckily that middle one gets all the reflect, but you're not going to be reflecting these arrows. Oh, Stella going down is not ideal. We want to try and... She's still going to go down pretty quick, I believe. But you end up throwing one Thundaga on the front mage and then one on the back mage, and then the fight kind of flows into itself pretty good for the damage rolls.
Yeah, there is not much that can happen here. They will keep single targeting like their Delta attack. They don't like AoE spells or anything like that. So you can always just recover by like reviving But yeah. You want to kill the middle one first, because if you don't and kill the other ones first, the middle one will revive the other two.
That's to full health, isn't it?
Yep.
You'll love to see it. Oh, I was really hoping she was going to get berserked. I've never seen her get berserked before. She might be immune to it, but it would have been fun to see.
Nice and easy. Ish. I have to tell her stop taking a nap twice.
Zig's been getting a little bit of the pointy end of the stick on some of these boss fights, but I always like to think that there's a bit of a karma tug and pull, so we're just saving all the good RNG for later on.
Don't do it, Tella. Don't do it.
I actually have a really big problem right now in that was my last Phoenix down.
I was gonna say, you have been reviving characters left and right. I was wondering if you were getting low.
Sure would be nice if you got a white mage here pretty soon.
But she can't die.
That is true.
You can buy after Barbarisha?
Rupan, in the meantime, on Dark Elf 1, Nicky also already entering Tower Zots. See the Berserk strats on Dark Elf here. Should be easy pickings.
Actually, getting the weak spell on Sid is pretty nice. If he opts for Tella to off himself, it'll be a little bit easier. Oh, he's going... Oh, yeah. Because he should be able to do a bio on self if he wants to do it that way. Oh, he's keeping Tella alive. Okay. Wasn't sure if he was going to be greedy for a little extra experience or not.
In general, did they change up boss weaknesses immunities from older versions to PR? I believe they did not. It should... Like, I cannot guarantee this for, like, every single enemy in the game, but bosses have the same weaknesses and all that. I have not gone through, like, every single enemy that exists in this game, though. So, there may be one enemy where they decided, you are now weak to poison, but, yeah, I don't know.
As far as the speedrun's concerned, it feels the same between SNES and Pixel Remaster. They've kept that pretty consistent.
Yeah. A lot of the strategies are definitely, like, minor adjustments from, like, what a SNES glitchless speedrun would do, or, you know, like, just basically convert it into what you have to do in this version, because this version works slightly differently with the ATB, of course. It's not a bowling ball, no.
So here Zik is going to be coming up on Barbrisha,
No,
as the new kids call it.
Yeah, Nicky's getting ready for the Maga Sisters.
Hopefully Nicky gets to finish this fight with Phoenix Downs in the inventory.
Yeah, well, like, Barbarisha is the first fight in a game, like in most versions, where you really feel that the difficulty amps up very significantly. Like, she can be quite a nuisance, no matter the version. I'm very curious to see how this goes. This is also... Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say Barbrisha in this version is also kind of annoying just with the fact that, like, jump misses a lot. Actually, a lot of your attacks miss a lot. And you're just kind of, you're praying that at least, like, I don't know, 75% of your hits actually hit to have a good time. I believe we do use a bomb core in this fight, though. But
And
Zik
the
is
strat of
definitely...
the fight we have one, but that doesn't make it safer at all.
So she will constantly like try to get into this tornado form, and you have to jump in order to like disable it. The tornado form gives her an immense amount of evasion, which is why your attacks miss or only hit very low damage while she's in that form. And yeah, then you have once you hit the jump or the jump connects, she'll open up for a little bit. Counter with one physical attack that's pretty heavy, and then you'll have like about a turn or two to try to do like some form of damage, and then the cycle basically repeats. Yeah, there you go. That was like 1.5 turn maybe.
Yeah, it's quick in this version.
And you don't have Tella anymore, who can just like, you know, fling a tier 3 spell or anything like that, so most of the damage, if not all of it, like, just comes from you whacking her, pretty much.
And one important thing, we have to like throw a couple of slows on, since we mentioned before that slows stack, but you can only throw the slow when she's not in her tornado form. So you have to time that a little bit as well, amongst, you know, trying to keep her up your whole party at the same time, especially if she's hitting tornado. I've seen some people berserk Cecil, but I'm gonna guess Zik didn't, just for the cover ability, so we're not reviving as much.
Cover is huge here, since she also uses weak, or tornado, I guess is the official translation, which puts you into single-digit HP.
Alright,
So
I guess we
use,
will.
Safety. Well, we already did a bit of damage here, so I guess we're mostly close to getting this done.
I think also the most annoying part of this fight is, because auto battle is so good, but every time you hit her when she's in the tornado form, you got that little text box on the top that says you gotta jump.
Well, Sid's dead, by the way, so like, can't even revive. Sad face. No, don't kill Rosa. Don't do it. You're 75. Good job, Yang.
I know at one point we were also using arrow strats. Actually, I think Rupan might be using arrow strats on this fight. I don't know if it makes a huge difference or not.
Well, I'm gonna assume you put Zestel in the back row with arrows, then. That's what you mean.
Yeah, I don't remember if I didn't write that down.
Yeah, cause like, even, like, then if he covers from the back row, he'll take less damage. So, that seems reasonable.
Rupan having a pretty clean Mega Sisters fight, though.
Man, this fight still gets me excited to this day. It's just in every version, like, Paparicia is exciting. Nice.
There you go. Not a lot of misses in that, which is pretty good. And the misses always seem to happen in like strings too, which I think makes it even more annoying. So you'll sit there and all of a sudden it's like 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, and you're like, okay, I need somebody to hit something, please.
I wonder if like the tornado form sometimes retains in this version because it forgets to switch off when you connected a jump. It seemed like that at one point. Like he did very low damage during like one of the opening phases there. I'm not sure if auto battle does something there. It's weird. Seems weird to me. Right.
I feel like auto battle is just an enigma that we still don't completely understand because of all its weird little quirks.
Yeah. Nicky is also on Paparicia now. And we have a dead Sid almost instantly as well. Nice.
Yeah, use the bomb count Sid because Yang got immediately weaked. Targeting please, thanks.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing, I guess. So if you, like, target something on your party, like, let's say a heal or whatever, and then you want to cast slow, it doesn't automatically switch to the enemy for the slow cast. You have to actually pay attention and do that manually in Pixel Remasters. Because that's fun, right? I mean, why would a spell that you would only want to cast on enemies not automatically go to enemies?
And it's really bad in 6 when you have people have like all white magic, black magic, whatever else. It
Yeah.
works with thunder rods as well. Oh, so bad.
I've fallen into this trap more than one time.
Yeah. It's the rite of passage. So we made it into the underworld, where coming up to a boss fight that can be a little bit scary. I don't know if he's going to use any blink strats or not at all for it. So I don't think... Does Rosa have blink at this point in time?
She should.
Okay. I know Tella
Depends
has
on the experience she gets, but I know my Rosa did get blink at the end of Barbaresia.
I was gonna say, with like how like people have been sacrificing allies, she should almost always have it.
Is there anything super different with the Pixel remaster? So aside from how speed kind of works, how they changed up with the experience and how that works, and just with the auto battle in general, we end up having a bit of different strategies just to basically try and hit auto battle as much as possible just to make the runs or the fights actually go faster. So we try to use that like just as much as possible, which changes things up a little bit.
Reasonable fight on Nicky's side. I'm not sure how much it matters that Rosa was dead though. Hopefully.
Just roll with it. I mean, she has Berserk, which is
Okay,
the
yeah,
main,
that's the
like the main
one,
important point.
Yeah. And flawlessly, Rupan actually enters the fight now.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Finish up one, start the next.
Yeah.
That kind of shows you how long this boss fight actually is.
Yeah. I like how it was pretty much staggered, that like one person went out and the next person goes in. Very good. I love that.
All right, so with the dolls fight here, we're gonna kill the front 3 of them and basically force them to go into Calcabrina as fast as possible. Calcabrina can be a little bit scary because it hits pretty hard, but basically this is one of those glass cannon fights where I just need to hit you as hard as I can before you hit me as hard as you can, and we see who wins. There is a little bit of healing, so you should still have Rosa up, but that's kind of what it feels like. It's definitely a DPS race. We have to 2-turn all of these front rows, it looks like. I've seen some people go for a jump, but that might be a little bit slower. These dolls get a lot of attacks off, by the way. This is where you kind of get weakened up early on.
Oh, does the hourglass not work on the dolls here?
Not anymore.
Oh, interesting.
Wait, it does in PSP, not in Pixel Remaster.
That would be a difference, I guess. Somebody was just asking differences. Okay. Oh, that should work, but it doesn't. Interesting.
There you go, good old blink strats on Cecil. Although, I guess you kind of want him, he's kind of the secondary carry here, with Kane doing the most with his jump damage. Being able to also avoid being hit for 60% of the fight or so.
First good damage roll for Rupan, by the way, that I've seen. Cecil has been putting in work, but the rest has just been watching, mostly.
Oh yeah, and he is using the bow strats.
The bow strat, yeah. And we're out for Rupan. Nice.
Feels a little weird that he has Yong in the back row and Rosa in the front. But maybe Yong was just on heal duty for the most part anyway.
That's, yeah, Young. Pretty much exclusively throwing high potions. Oh no, we're dying.
Got the jump off, which earlier on I remember we didn't do. I don't know why. Probably just because
It probably
Didn't think
took
of
too
something.
long for Golbez to actually get his turn right. And
Yeah, I think so. You
yeah.
have 2 animations that you need to jump over, and I
Yeah,
believe
yeah.
that like it wasn't even possible because he was too slow to jump over
Yeah,
those.
yeah, yeah,
But at the
that-
same time, Cecil is the main damage dealer that Kane doesn't make it. That also isn't that big deal.
Yeah, so now with the patch, you can just like jump and it's fine, I guess.
You can try.
Yeah.
Yeah, now we're just hitting that string of one person goes into a fight, leaves it, next person goes into the fight.
This is great, actually. I love it. If we could keep that pace, that'd be great. Thank you very much, guys.
This part always bothered me where they just watch Golbez's arm just crawl across the floor and then grab the crystal. They just watch it all for like 15 seconds. Like, you're not going to do anything about that? Just, okay. You do you, guys.
To be fair, it's a floating arm, so like you would be stunned too. Whoa, it's floating.
If only that was the weirdest thing we're going to come across.
Very quick Kaguya transition here for Nicky. Very nice.
Also, Zik picking up one of the better arm pieces that we use in this game, the power armlet. Just since we use a lot of, actually, strength is pretty much our biggest stat in this game. Power armlet making it just so much better. And we pretty much just carry it around for all of our main carries, which for a bit is Kane, and then for a bit is Young, and then for a bit is Kane. And I think that's pretty much all it ever actually gets thrown on.
Yep.
Cecil just does his best.
Cecil does technically get the best weapons in the game, but not until very late. Otherwise, he'd be the strongest. But Kane is, by default, just has slightly more options, and is slightly stronger at this point in the game, in terms of like his strength gains. And Yang is just beast in general as well. Like he doesn't even need the weapons technically, but some pierce elemental weakness. That's pretty much why you carry around the claws.
Yeah, he basically has an answer to every boss fight that we have while we have him.
I think Rupan should wait a minute. Nicky's not done with Golbez yet.
Rupan, you're going too quick.
Rupan has been having a bit of a rough run though, from what I've seen. Like I mentioned that earlier, it had tons of back attacks and not so ideal boss fights in general.
Like, before in the pre-patch, we used to actually not like preamps because it was faster to not have it just because you didn't have to see that text box on the top. Now with the speed increase, preamps are actually better now because you still get that, but at least you're not getting beat up on.
Yeah.
Which is a fun little thing. So we used to be like, oh, another preempt? Okay.
The text box, no. Ah, clean from Nicky. Also got the jump there. And Rupan is okay, perfect timing actually, never mind me. Everything's good. Zek's picking up the cat claw, which outside of actually also giving you strength, it gives you agility. Very important.
I mentioned it to Zik just yesterday. I'm like, you should probably try throwing it on a little bit earlier to see if you can run away a little bit quicker or not. And he's like, you know what? I've actually noticed a bit of a difference. I'm like, gotta watch those Nose 64 runs.
If it works like FF5, which I don't actually know, every speed point actually matters in terms of how fast your ATB fills. I'm not sure if that's correct for FF4, but like in FF5 it works that way. Every speed point will give you like faster ATB ticks, so having this speed boost from the cat claw should be relatively significant.
I say this, the first couple of runaways were pretty good. The next ones were not so much.
It's still random where you start, right?
Yeah. That's the thing. Which should be the same thing for the enemy also has random ATB starts. So it's kind of yours versus theirs.
You know, it really doesn't feel that way, because usually the enemies will just get to attack. I don't know if that's random or not. Like...
It's random, they just always get the upper hand.
Yeah. It sure feels that way playing Pixel Remasters. I'm not sure.
Yeah, sometimes they even get in 2 attacks, even if it's not an ambush. It's great.
Wow. Enemies do definitely not have to menu. That is correct. And that's the thing though, if you play on Battlespeed 1 specifically, like, your time to react to things is very, very limited. Because, like, you just lose ATB ticks so fast.
Just watching Rupan's screen and Yang got hit for like 970. Went down like a bag of bricks. So, actually, I've always liked the Lugia fight. It's always felt like a nice little fun one of, there's different ways you can take it. Some people like to... Most runners seem now to they want to take out the Doctor, but you can do a lot of damage to Barnabas. And if you can kind of kill the Doctor first and get Barnabas down to very low HP, because he also does a self-destruct, you can pretty much make it so no one really dies. Depending on where his HP is, and again, how much, kind of what your damage rolls do too, because Yang is doing stupid amounts of damage with the robot being weak to electric.
Yep.
Yeah, optimally you don't even want to take out both, but not always possible.
He actually gets experience here. I forgot. Ha! He does know this, like in that part of the fight.
And realistically, you basically just want Yang to not be the one to die, because he's, again, going to be the hard carry for this fight with the power armlet and the...
Yeah.
It's big damage.
Yeah, so on the SNES, if you're poisoned, you can't actually get slept anymore. Here, it's a bit different, but, you know, it's just like 3 punches anyway.
And we don't even really worry with the poison, since the ticks when you're walking do so little damage that you'll basically go...
Is it 1 per step?
I think maybe? I don't know, it feels really... We'll run all the way to the imps, and then we'll just get a full heal after that.
It must be.
Yeah, it looks like he'll just opt for the safety. Which, like, there's a lot of steps we go.
Yeah, very disappointed that they didn't make the screen flash like in the SNES games. This is supposed to be, like, the definitive version. I don't understand.
Just the discombobulating screen trickle.
Yeah.
Actually, I think they made it the same all across all Pixel Remasters, where you just get this nice little green flash now.
Yeah. This race definitely has tightened up, like, from what the times were saying at the start of the run.
Yeah, I actually really like having this graph. It's really good just to kind of show the progress throughout. Just from split to split. Also,
yeah,
I just really like data.
Yeah, that's actually really nice to see, to be honest.
So this fight's kind of a joke fight. There's not really any risk in it. You just take them all down in one attack and you call it a day. And I don't think you even have to worry about unequipping Yang at all. I think he gets auto-unequipped.
Pixel Remasters unequip everyone.
Yeah.
When leaving.
Mm-hmm. Which is really most important, is like the cat claw for that, because like somebody else will be able to equip that later. And then...
That and the power armlet, since he was rocking it on the Doctor. Nicky starting this fight as well. Maybe part of why I love this fight so much as well is just the fact that the Doctor's robot just starts beating up on him a little bit as well. It's a pretty serious fight that's also not serious. Oh, if you got one more Yang attack off, that would have been sick.
That's
Although-
a script. Sadly, you know how it is with scripts.
The fact that nobody died is nice, though. Zik and Rupan just giving themselves a high five on their way in and out. That damage, I just love that damage. Anything that where you can just like get huge amounts of damage for just because I have the right equipment, I love everything about it. And this game does it pretty well. Probably just because it feels like it's a huge reward just for like a knowledge check.
Yeah. So like, unlike other games, this game actually has like damage multipliers with 4 and 8 as well. Like most games, it's like double damage for elemental weakness. It's a bit different here. It's like times 4 or even times 8 sometimes, which is crazy. Nice back attack. There we see them getting 2 attacks instead of just 1. That's so mean. And Rupan also going into the Doctor fight.
Just kind of looking, he's been closing that gap down quite a bit. So I think at one point he was like plus 9 minutes. Checking now, he's at about 6.5.
Yeah. I think every runner had like a hiccup here and there, and
Yeah.
it's been mostly even-ish.
Just funny because now we're gonna start getting into some of the rude fights.
Yeah. Very excited actually. I'm sure this is where a majority of the practice time has went into for the runners, like going like from here forward.
Yeah, the big things are Rubicante, 4 Fiends, and then Zeromus are kind of the big hurdles, especially with that speed increase. I think that's the highest roll we've seen on Rupan for this fight. He did like a 3,500.
Ooh, 4 hit though. Flamethrower. Rude.
But here, Zik's just going to be talking to Sid's lackeys. They're going to be working on the ship a little bit. This is to be able to pick up the hovercraft. Because we just really love that hovercraft.
So fast.
So fast. The best movement we have in this game. So we were mentioning this version, the speed, or the way that speed works is, it looks like it's not tied to Cecil at all, where everything just kind of has its own, in quotations, individual speed setting, or speed stat. So
Yeah.
we can't really manipulate it too much, which is unfortunate because it would actually be really helpful now. Best we can kind of do is just try to make Yang fast with the cat claw for now. Kind of hope for the best.
Yeah, the Pixar Master specifically, it could sometimes feel a bit awkward. Not only this game, but also other games. They had like different ways how to handle like their ATB systems, and this is all a unified ATB system on all of them. So like, it definitely feels a bit out of place at time when you like get attacked by enemies 3 times when in the original versions you never would.
Just having Zik putting down the hovercraft. One thing that bothered me in this version, I don't know why it bothered me as much as it did, is you can't park your airship 1 square away from the hovercraft because it'll just auto get its way back in, so you have to go 2 squares away, and it took way too long for me to realize this. So we're going to come into here, buy a couple of ice things, because there's no way we would be fighting anything that would be fire elemental anytime soon.
Huh.
And any ether along the way is really good for power, or the Giant of Babel and on. We blow through it pretty quick.
I guess we didn't mention this, but like I'm just noticing you can't actually run away while auto battle is going on. So you have to like manually switch on and off every time to try and run away.
Yeah, I guess usually the strat is you turn it on to start the fight, and then if there's any animations, you turn it on to make the animations go by a little bit quicker. Then as soon as you get some ATB, turn it off and try and get that run away as quick as you can. Then as soon as you actually see that run animation, turn it back on again to make that go by quicker. It does make running away a little more technical, which is kind of fun.
I think it's tedious, but that's just me.
It is, but at least it's more than just holding LNR sometimes. I have to think about what I'm doing when I do the runaway at least.
It's like just demonstrating what we just talked about if you hold the auto battle. Thank you.
Backpack attacks, you hate to see it.
Yeah, notorious. Every version of this game they do this Blood Feast attack, and in every version it's a relatively lengthy animation. You just hate to get back attacked by that.
So another scripted fight that Zik is doing right now, just auto plays itself. You can't auto battle your way through it, so you have to watch it just at its base speed. Not that it's super long, but it could also be like 1.5 times faster.
Poor technique. This is how it's done.
Now, one thing I didn't take note of, we used to grab this dry ether, the chest really close just to the south of us here. I don't know if we grab that anymore, but it is nice to heal for 150 MP.
You know what? I think we're about to find out.
You do use one of them, and there are 2 that you can pick up. Then again, backup is always something to consider, and they are not that far. Like, almost same distance.
Oh, he opted to not grab it. Alright. I know nothing. It's fine. Curious to see if he does in fact put on the cat claw on edge just to get a little extra speed again.
I like this. We come full circle from SNES now. There's also like people who didn't used to on SNES equip cat claws at all, and then like it was found out that if you do equip the cat claws, you can actually run away from bells you couldn't before.
Especially when you could duplicate them and go with 2 of them.
Yeah.
Hey, this strat is really good because even on back attacks, we're not getting hit.
Exactly.
Now, as far as when you get an ambush, there's nothing you can do about that. You just have to sit there and...
Yeah.
Every enemy gets 1 attack, so you can kind of auto-battle your way through it. Just make sure that you're counting the attacks.
Should I ask how we're doing on Phoenix Downs?
In 0, we restock after dolls.
Yeah, I still feel like there's a lot of reviving going on, though.
Zik has had a lot of people eating some dirt today. Been a little bit of a rough go, but taking it all in stride pretty good.
Ooh, that was close, Nicky.
I don't know why they all got off a second attack. Definitely not spooky.
In the back of the mind, in auto save we trust.
You've been getting clobbered here. Holy moly. Ah, yes, hovercraft.
I think that was the parking thing that I was talking about. Luckily, we don't need to ride that atrocious vehicle anymore. I know it's not worth it, but we could almost use it again. Go and grab the Excalibur instead of the Avenger. Just for fun. I'm sure it's definitely not a whole bunch slower.
Definitely is. But the Excalibur is very strong. I'll say that, but you'd have to grind Cecil for it. Which, that does probably waste a billion.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing is he doesn't have a reliable way to get a lot of experience like we do with Kane.
Yeah.
So Zik coming up after we have one more scripted fight. Oh, he went through the scripted fight already. This is one of the rude fights. Rubicante can, with that speed increase, seems like he just got a little rougher. And it's one of the first boss fights where he quick saves before. That kind of shows you how the confidence level can be for what this boss can do. So while his leg's out, you can hit him with some spider silks, hit him with some magic spells. When you hit him with the Blizzara or Shiva, he'll actually hit himself with a blizzard spell, which gets you a little extra damage. If his cape is closed, he just absorbs all the damage that you throw at him. All the elemental damage, that is. And I believe every time you attack him when he's close, he does fire on the entire party as well, so you have to kind of keep track of that, because it does a good amount of damage. Honestly, this is one of those hold your breath fights. So he also has a move called Inferno, which we saw does a lot of damage.
Yeah, you can technically survive that, but you need to have elemental protection in current form of armor. Like, Cecil and Kane, even on these levels, could technically like get the armor for that to survive that, but it's also a lot of cash that we don't have.
Realistically, I guess probably the best person to get hit by Inferno is probably Edge in this situation, just because of the Phoenix Down shenanigans. Because Cecil is going to do a good amount of damage with his Ice Brand. You can see Kane doing a lot of damage with his jumping. Flood does good damage, but we also just don't want Hosa to go down at all.
That's pretty strong, actually, considering Edge's ninjutsus are pretty bad in general. Like, this is one fight where Flood actually can shine for a change.
This fight's actually going pretty smooth so far, though.
Yeah, that was a good amount of damage there in that one.
And each elemental boss that we've come to has had a huge increase in HP as well. So even though we're doing like stupid amounts of damage in this, it's still like not that much shorter than like Valvolus or Barbarisha. Working on that run buffering just to get a little extra ATB time. I love that he Blizzaras himself. That was a good fight.
Yeah, that was good actually. That last damage from Kane. Oh my.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he has one more damage multiplier, or two more than you would have on SNES. On SNES he can do also like up to 6,800 damage, but like it's a bit more here because you're slightly higher level.
I think it's part of it is when you jump with a spear, you're doing twice as much damage than with anything else. Then you also have the elemental damage. Then you get some high rolls in there, and get all that to add up, and you can start hitting 7,700.
I didn't see it, but I'm assuming Kane has the power armlet at this point.
Yes, he also has the power armlet.
Yeah. That's very helpful. Let's see how it
See
goes
now,
for
Nicky's starting the fight.
Yeah.
Rydia going down is kind of unfortunate, just you miss out on that double Blizzara damage.
I believe he reacts to Shiva only. Not
Oh, he was doing it on Blizzara as well. I believe we stack 2 slows, maybe a third if you kind of have the time for it, but 2 for sure, just because you can see how fast he's going even with the 2 slows. And it feels like you're kind of fighting for every ATB tick.
Oh man, you hate to see it. Good damage from Kane though.
Rydia's definitely having a rough go in this fight.
That's really unfortunate. That's a lot of damage even missing. Character's getting on very low HP here. Not sure if I'm a fan.
So you'll see Nicky just sitting there, just waiting for Rivacante to open up again, because like we said, if you do any attack, he'll either, if you use a magical spell, he'll just hit himself with Bizarra and heal himself. If you hit him up with a physical spell, he'll hit fire on your entire team. So you may as well just sit there and wait for him to open up again. And you don't even want to auto battle defend, since you might just be wasting out on some ATB waiting for him to open up. And you'd hate to see everyone be like half ATB.
Rupan in the meantime also in the fight. Had a pretty reasonable start. Edge got hit with the Inferno, so that's very reasonable. Got damage out with everybody else. Oh. Nicky getting fairly unlucky here with the damage rolls and targeting.
We saw Zik had a really smooth fight. This is, through almost no fault of Nicky's, this is just how this fight can go.
Boosting Rydia, that was always the plan, wasn't it? Just boosting Rydia in experience.
Yeah. We're going to the, I think that's the PSP strats, Rydia strats now.
Yeah. This is where it all changes. The new routing comes into play. That's good to get through the fight though. Like, yeah, that could have ended very poorly after that turn if that didn't kill.
Yeah, kind of a bit of counting, guessing. I mean, you saw I had to revive and high potion a lot at the beginning, because Rydia and Kane are just the main damage dealers.
Now we see how Rupan goes through this. That it's a real clencher. So we're kind of clenching for 3 times as long as normal.
He's been having a reasonable fight so far. Nothing too bad happens. Yeah, most of the Infernos were on characters that... Yeah, that was really good actually. He made up a lot of time there. Most of the Infernos hit characters that were not really essential, and he got outdamaged almost every turn. That was very nice. Very good. Definitely made up a good amount of time.
The main thing for that fight is you basically want people to be above like 350-ish or so you can revive or survive the Fyra. Then after that, it's like anything else is just pretty much going to kill you.
Yeah.
So now we're making the little detour to grab the Avenger. It's a sword that is two-handed. Auto Berserk's the character that uses it, but that Berserk also has a pretty high damage or strength stat on it too, I believe. But this cave with that speed increase on everything is a little monka. Before it felt pretty free, now it doesn't.
Yeah, these enemies are not playing very nice, for sure.
No, that felt like it was a 2-turn on almost everything.
Oh yeah, you're supposed to be like level 35 to 40 here, at the very least, to do this.
With the float spell too.
Yeah, this is like side content technically, right? So you don't have to come here. But yeah, oh god, well, I don't think there's a way we live to this, is there?
Be lucky. Thank you, auto battle or auto save. Basically lost just that little bit of time, and not a lot of steps at least. One thing I've noticed with the quick save function is it seems like it kind of quote unquote saves your seed, so you seem to get the fight like almost the same fight on the same step.
It's not the same fight, but you do get the same amount of steps on.
Is it okay? So yeah, running through here at 1 HP is a little scary. Honestly, the Malboros is actually not that bad compared to everything else. So this is a fight where we want Kain to get all the experience as well. So that's the reason he's the only one that we heal. I'm not 100% sure if you can run buffer this fight or not. If you can run away from the chest fights. I don't think you can.
Yeah, unlike the next game, you can actually not run for chest encounters anymore.
But we basically got the setup we want now. We got the hourglass on everything, so now they're stopped. Throw out a couple of titans, and then we're just going to have everyone off themselves, and then Kain just kind of does a cleanup. Okay, 2 titans. And then I think Rydius is going to end up doing like a fire across the entire party and just take them all out at once. Trying to do physicals can be a little inconsistent at best. With the misses and everything. And now we're going to power spike our arcane through the good old sealed cave. So there's a whole bunch of enemies in here that are the... What is their actual name? I just know them as doors.
Trapdoors.
Oh, it's trapdoor. And basically they'll do, they'll target you once, and then they'll use... Is it 9th dimension in this game? Has a weird name for it. And it just will, it'll auto-kill you. So we basically, with our Berserked Kain, we're just going to auto-battle it, and for the first 1 or 2, you basically just kind of hope that you don't die. Then after that, you're typically okay. If you get some high damage rolls, you end up hitting the threshold where the trapdoor turns into a chimera, which you lose a little bit of experience on. But first fight went well, so after that, we're pretty much through the woods from this point on, and we're going to be going from level 29 to like level 48 or 49, something like that.
These doors give actually an unreasonable amount of experience, like even for where you are at this point. It's like 21,000 experience for Kain right now per battle, which is insane actually. That is like end game. Like we're getting close to the end game, but like end game enemies don't actually drop that much experience. Some of them, it's like.
I know the casual strat that you would normally do is you'd watch whichever one they target on, you'd throw like a reflect spell on them, and then he reflects the auto kill on them. But we go fast here. Just stab him faster than he can kill you. And pre-patch, we only took like 3 or 4 doors because the speed was fine, but because we need a little bit of a higher speed stat to take on Zeromus, we need to get a lot more extra experience, so we end up killing just every single door.
Stands to reason, honestly.
Yeah, right now Zik's just going to be pushing the Y button to win for the next little bit. You can see other parties starting to go to get their Avengers. Nicky got hers. Rupan's coming up on his. This race has definitely closed in on itself quite a bit.
I'm liking it.
Oh, lots of bad breaths on Rupan right now. As soon as you get that hourglass, you know you're good at least. It's just trying to get that first hourglass out. That's the most stressful part of the Malboro fight. Some good equipment that Zik is picking up. Picked up a light sword for Cecil. Picked up a black cowl for later on as well.
Yeah, Black Cowl is basically the upgraded version of the headbands.
You might not have seen it, but actually I got lucky because Kane under-damaged the first door, but 9th dimension actually missed.
What? Yeah, I totally missed that. I saw your fight going, I'm like, okay, it looks like you're doing okay. I didn't see that part.
That can miss in this version? Excuse
Apparently.
me? Excuse me, Square? Excuse me? Hello? Wow.
Oh no, I got some. Yeah, well, now I have to redo 2 doors. Wow. How do I under-damage the 4th door? Usually only the first one should be dangerous. Well, I guess I laughed too quickly.
You know what? I'm not even that confused by that, since the fact that if you know about the Gigantos in FF6 version where he has 0 magical evasion, in the Pixel Remaster, I've had it twice where I've had a bio miss him. I'm like, you have literally no evasion. How is this missing? I need answers. So, just Pixel Remaster things is the TLDR of that.
Yeah.
So I noticed this before. Rupan actually brings up Cecil here for a little bit of experience.
Probably for safety, because as it stands, Cecil cannot survive a Big Bang, like, reliably, I believe. That might be for, like, 1 Big Bang survival later for Ceremus. To be absolutely sure that he will.
Looking at it, well, maybe it's to help a little bit with the damage rolls as well, so you don't,
You don't game over? Like,
yeah.
you know? Yeah.
Kind of looking at it, because he killed him on that second fight, so that's kind of what I'm thinking he's going for now. Killed him for some extra experience, brought him back up for... Yeah, this looks like it's probably a safety strat.
Wondering if he's gonna make up the... Because like Kane is losing a lot of XP here, if he's gonna make that up later. He must be making that up somewhere.
And then Zik on Demon Wall, and because we're berserked with 1 character, hit that auto battle button and take a coffee break. There's not a lot of risk in this fight because of how hard we're hitting.
Yeah, we made strides here, like our HP more than doubles, like from entering. That's a lot of levels.
And then Demon Wall himself, I think, I'm actually curious to see now if Demon Wall gives as much experience as the doors do.
Nope. Doors give more XP. That's what I'm saying, doors are just insane.
That's actually hilarious. I've never noticed that before.
Yeah, if they weren't so annoying to fight, this is one of the best XP sources in the game. Like, legitimately.
Imagine if they were renewable as well. Oh.
Yeah,
Everyone would be max level.
That's the thing that's missing, yeah. Yeah, Rupan has abandoned Cecil at this point. I do wonder if he is making up the XP deficit at some point. I imagine he has to. I'm just wondering how.
I think it's fine.
I mean, he killed 4 doors with Cecil up. That's a lot of XP.
Yeah, I think if you count it tight, so it's like 2 doors. But I'm also not sure what he's using the Cecil XP for, so...
Yeah.
Curious to see if he kind of goes for managing... Well, you're not really going to manage a lot of extra experience on 4 Fiends, because you usually end up with only like 1 or 2 people alive as it is.
I guess time will tell. Oh, you can't even warp out. Can you warp out of this cave? Or did
No.
they... Oh,
Nope.
they patched it. Yeah, okay, good. You can at least warp out, like, with Rydia in the SNES version, but...
And just
yeah,
go floor by floor.
Yeah. Not even that is allowed anymore. Oh no! The party member regrinded! No!
At least they added that little do-do-do-do. Because they added that.
I don't know what it is, but the fact that Rupan is just carrying around a dead frog in his party member slays me. Just every fight you see the frog on his back.
I mean, Zek's been running around as a frog the entire way, up and down.
I do love that they also have that in 2, and I wish it was in... I wish you could do that as like an imp in 6. It would be awesome. This is one of the only few games that actually has Pig and Minnie in it. Earlier ones, I think 3 had it. 5, I don't remember.
This is definitely a very exclusive game when it comes to bacon. I'll say that. Very exciting demon wall fight going on Nicky's screen now.
Yeah. I like the execution.
It's tough, man. Ah, looks like
Zik
Rupan's-
getting his like 3rd or 4th airship thing going on now.
We like working on airships here. Looks like Rupan is only 1 level down with his can, so that shouldn't really matter too much.
Yeah, it will be actually kind of fun to see what the higher leveled Cecil will do for him then.
My guess is really big bang damage rolls for the first one, but I'm also not sure. Like,
Or even just because we're throwing spider silks on, maybe just to possibly survive a flare.
could also be that could also damage roll them if you don't know. Yeah.
We're still on this 1 person goes in, 1 person goes out on the boss fights a bit as well.
It's funny that it staggers like this the entire run. Wow, Nicky, can you stop getting back attack, please?
I wish! This is the 2nd in a row of this.
Oh man. Yeah, that's the nastiest one you can get here too. Very good.
It's nice that they put this in numerous caves. The game needed it.
That was a slight time waste, I'll say. Oh dear. You do like that battle, don't you?
I guess so. Guess the rest of the run was too good, since this cave just had to equalize everything.
They're just escorting you out of the building. And now that we've, we just worked on an airship, so why don't we just, get a completely different airship? This game actually has a lot of vehicles.
Yeah.
So does anything else have more vehicles than this?
You know, to be honest, like, a lot of FF games have a ton of vehicles, actually. You just never, like, actively realize it unless you think about it.
Yeah, I guess so.
The FF3 speedrun destroys its first airship in less than 15 minutes.
That's the way it was meant to be.
Do chocobos count as vehicles? Yes. I'll count that.
I'll count it. That way you get 2. The black and the yellow chocobo. So now the moon is also going to be a little bit scarier because you kind of get a little bit of a difficulty increase from just the random enemies on there. And with that speed increase on the enemies that we've had, that we keep mentioning, there's a lot of stuff on there that hits a lot harder than anything that we've really come across so far. Kind of the stuff in the underground caves we're hitting pretty hard, but this kind of takes it to a new level.
This is about the point in the game where you'll notice if you don't wear armor. This is where, enemies do start to hit very hard.
So you'll probably notice there's probably going to be a lot of healing every 2, 3, 4, 5 fights. If you make it up to 5, you're probably considering yourself lucky. So I noticed that was the same in just playing 5 as well. It feels like you're healing after every other. I love that you can park the lunar whale on the stairs here. Just one tile closer than you can do in SNES.
That seems illegal, if you ask me.
Parking ticket will be sitting on the dash.
One of the naming ways just going by. You can't park here.
It is good to see we have like the same cutscene going on at the same time. Just the fact that this race has been this close, 16 hours in, really adds to the hype value. Actually, Zik had a really nice walk. I don't think he had to heal once. I don't even know if he really took any damage.
He did a little bit, but that was definitely very good. It must be the cat claw.
It's the cat claw tip. Yup.
I'm a big fan of cat claws, actually.
I think we're just biased because of the SNES version, but yeah, me too. It's not even the fact that you use it, it's just what it does for you for running away.
Yep.
But here we get Fusoya, always joining at level 50. Is he considered the strongest mage, or is he just strong because he just comes in at a really high level? I've never actually looked at his stats.
His stats are kind of meh. They're not terrible, but your characters become better if they are that level, of course.
Oh, back attack. And you see Rosa and Rydia hit the dirt real quick. Even Edge almost dying in the back row off of one attack. So this walk can be brutal, and I'm actually surprised at how nice it was for Zik on that first half. Here we pick up a Lunar Curtain that we end up using on the 4 Fiends. Lunar Curtain just being an item that grants you the Reflect status for a bit. I know it doesn't in the SNES. Do they give a visual cue on if Reflect is actually on and when it falls off?
No,
in this version?
it doesn't on SNES. I mean, I'm not sure if like you get the blinking here or not.
Yeah, I haven't actually paid attention to that because we didn't do Lunar Curtain strats early on. Nicky started taking it in a little bit after I did my few runs. Would be nice because it's really unfortunate when you don't actually know if it fell off or not.
I mean, generally, even if it doesn't, at some point you do get a feeling for how long it lasts, right? But like,
That's true.
definitively knowing is definitely better than like having to guess.
Just always feels bad when you want to reflect something off of you and then you see Rosa white herself and you're like, well, here goes that. Or I guess holy in what it would be in this version. So Giant of Babel is just basically run from point A to point B, and then we get to another scary fight. 4-phase fight. Which can get out of hand pretty quick. It's one of those fights where if you have a good opening, generally you're not doing too bad. If that opening goes a little bad, you're kind of on just trying to keep it together mode for a good 30 seconds or so. This and Zeromus, like the 4 Fiends fight and Zeromus are probably the most practiced fights. Luckily you get the CPU fight afterwards, which is a little bit of a break. As long as you can count some damage, you're good to go.
Nobody told me I had to count. Hello?
Well, you don't have to count. You can just go by feel. I'm sure it's fine. No one's ever been screwed over by damage rolls in 4.
No.
See, Rupan's opting to grab the Lunar Curtain earlier than later. One of those things where it doesn't really matter, it's just one of those runner preference things. Also grabs the item beside it, and my Japanese is not good enough to know what it actually
has a
was.
bomb core, if I recall correctly.
Sounds right, yeah.
Interesting. So one of the big things that we try to do is we take off the Kinesis staff off of Fusoya. Slap it on Iridia for the CPU fight for sure. Since it removes the reflect status, which is really nice for when you have a party of casters.
Yeah, no D money in this one. No D money.
I mean, we might see one, but we'll just do the same thing we do with every other fight. Ta-ta for now. Even though the Searcher is a little bit slower to run away from because you always get that text box, it's probably better anyways, just because you're not taking damage.
Yeah. Nicky and Rupan both have very mixed walks here through the moon. Getting hit left and right.
Healing every encounter is fun, you know?
Yeah.
Zik almost died one tile away from the next screen where we would have got a new autosave. Fusoya living with like 100 and something HP. So one thing we do is we do buy, they have a naming way here for a shop. And you can buy a few Arctic Winds, some Rage of Gods, get some more items. We're going to be using these items on the upcoming fight here. Since basically you're giving everybody the ability to hit a elemental weakness. Which will do a whole lot more damage than what they normally would be able to do.
Rubicante is nice enough to heal you, but he's not very nice in this battle, let me tell you.
He wants a fair fight, but I've seen how this fight goes, and I don't think it's a fair fight.
It definitely isn't. That's pretty reasonable for now.
Edge not having no one die on the first attack is actually really nice.
Yeah, so
we
your main guy here is definitely 100% Fusoya, since nobody else is leveled at all, so...
And he has all the tier 3 spells along with it.
Oh, you do not actually get the glowy. Oh dear.
At least you get the little... In the status menu when you want to like heal and stuff, it kind of shows you the different statuses that you have. So that helps a little bit at least. I don't even want to say that this is like a rough start, this is just kind of a standard start. But you kind of want to do your setup as fast as possible through the Milon Z part. So that you're kind of good to go, because you kind of want to rip through Knazo here. Kagnazo? I don't remember which one he actually is now. So you can kind of blow through him quick enough, because after a certain amount of turns, which he might actually get guaranteed now, with the tidal wave, which hits everybody for a good amount of damage. You can kind of see Zik here kind of figuring it out, because this fight is never the same. It's kind of a, I've seen situations sort of like this, so we'll try and do it this way and hope for the best. Rage of Gods with a Cecil doing 3 grand is pretty good. They all have a, I think it's between 20 and 30,000 HP, and it alternates between them. So you're basically just trying to hit those thresholds, and that's why we throw in the items there can make it a little bit quicker to hit that, since Fusoya is always hitting 9,999, but you always need to get that little extra on it, maybe skip one of his turns. And this is why we picked up all those ethers and dry ethers, to make sure that Fusoya is always just fed with the MP. But the Maelstrom attack is probably one of the worst parts of this fight. Just with everyone getting to low HP, because the next part of this fight, when we get to Rubicante, he likes to attack everybody. And we're basically going to be finishing off the fight with Fusoya and maybe Cecil. But getting everybody up before we actually start it will be good for just throwing all those items on him. Since the scripting for Rubicante goes, he'll cast Fire, Fyra, Fyraga, and then I think he Infernos someone, and then he basically loops it over again. And with him being really fast, that damage accumulates really quick. Okay, so it looks like we actually only do one Arctic Wing, and then it's the Fusoya show after this. Probably going to throw probably an Elixir on him, just for the HP and the MP, looks like it. There you can see he's starting the scripting. The Fyro doesn't hit too hard, but he just kind of builds it up. And then you start to see the huge damage increase. He should be fine here, because you're just going to get hit by the Fyra. Yeah. Should live a Fyraga if he needed to, but that was a good fight.
Yeah. Nicely done.
And now that we got through one clencher, let's start the next one.
Yeah, Nicky already here. Let's go. Very nice. Very good. Nobody died so far.
And it is a big deal that nobody dies on that first bit, because it's very easily that, Rosa or Rydia can go down, and then you're missing out on throwing that one elixir or one potion on him. And then he just starts going to town on everybody else. Ooh, a miss is even better.
Still out luck here with damage rolls.
Yeah, these are actually, like, really kind damage rolls.
Sick, of course, in the meantime, taking care of the CPU, which the gimmick to that is he has the 2 nodes in front of him, one of which attacks and does like percentage-based damage, the other one heals the main body. But as long as you have one of the nodes up, still the CPU won't go crazy. If you kill both nodes, the CPU will go crazy and do an attack that will instantly wipe one party member.
And you don't want the healing one up, because we can't really keep up with the heal.
Rupan also in the 4 Fiends now. Nicky's fight is going really well so far.
Yeah, no, this
actually.
is going clean.
Rupan is doing pretty well too. Making it look easy, guys.
You guys said that this was a tough fight. I don't know, this looks like it's pretty easy. I say that, then Rubicante can still come and ruin your day.
Oh yeah. Ooh, Rupan just has a bit of a small hiccup there, but should be clutch miss.
Now, as long as Zik has been paying attention, he should be going for the medio kill on everything here, I believe is how we usually go for it. Yeah, it looks like that's what he's queuing up. Medio generally, being like the strongest spell in the game, takes quite a while to cast, but it's almost like a guaranteed 9,999. Which will kill the node, you'll kill the CPU if you've done enough damage.
Yeah, so personally, ever since reviving all 5 characters in the Valvalis fight, this fight hasn't been too difficult. But if you only do 3 characters, which was the first strat, this fight was alright.
Nice.
Oh, that was clean. Rupan's just sitting there thinking, just making sure he's got all of his ducks in a row before the kill setup here. It looks like if you can get Fusoya to basically full HP and get that one Arctic Wind off, you seem to be doing okay, or be in an okay spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, after the Fire Aga.
That Inferno does... I mean, it's not really unfair damage, it just feels like it. Because we're so under-leveled. But realistically, Fusoya should not have, like, the most HP.
Very nicely done by Rupan as well. Clean fights all across the board. And you know what? This race is tight.
Yeah, it's coming down to however Zeroma's kind of goes, which with that new patch got a little bit tougher. Zeroma's kind of used to be a bit of a free fight if you just kind of knew the scripting. Now we have a little extra risk in it. Nicky just doing the good old dispel flare strats. Since CPU's got 30,000 HP, so you're basically just counting it down until it gets to below 10,000, then you can just go for that medio kill. Actually, everyone was pretty consistent on that split. For how variable it can be with the 4 fiends, you love to see it. Taking a little bit of a breather, it's like, whew, we made it through that part. Not sure exactly what item that is that Rupan's using, but it is doing the like the comet attack or stardust attack, whatever it is.
It's stardust.
That is just, yeah, okay.
There is an item for that.
Alright, that was the item next to the Lunar Curtain, not a
Yeah.
Mom Core. Right.
I mean, same difference really, but yeah. Both kind of doing the same thing, just different types of attacks.
As long as you kind of keep track, especially with the percentage-based damage, the CPU fight isn't too bad, because you can just kind of gauge, okay, this many more attacks before I die type thing. And you're never going to, like, get surprised by it. So you can really plan around how this fight goes, which is nice. Especially after the fight that we just had. Then we kind of hit a little bit of cutscene central before we go to the final dungeon, which is where Zik is going. And, I was thinking about it last night. I was like, this is one of the few final dungeons where you can just run through and avoid all the bosses except for the final boss. Which now that I think about it is kind of crazy, but kind of fun. Because usually you have to hit something along the way before you get to the final boss. Your rite of passage, as it were, but nope.
I mean, yeah, you're kind of supposed to, because like all the ultimate gear, quote-unquote ultimate gear, is like, you know, hidden behind all those bosses that are like, you know, optional.
Right.
But you don't have to if you don't want to. Like, I like that, actually.
If we got to do that in 6, it would be a so much more consistent run. So the final dungeon, you'll see, again, this is kind of like the final difficulty spike. Stuff will start to hit pretty hard again. We're hoping that the cat claws kind of put in a little bit of work. Maybe get a couple of quicker runaways. But you're hoping to get like single enemy fights. Maybe the 2 enemy fights. Because then at least you're not going to get hit as much.
There is some encounters here that definitely are not very nice. The early stages of this dungeon is not so bad, but the deeper you go, the more annoying the enemies get, I guess.
I don't know if he has it, but I just kind of thought about the fact that you could, like, auto-battle Edge on Smoke if you wanted.
That is a possibility, yes.
That's what you do in PSP.
Yeah. I mean, you don't auto-battle it, but you also use Smoke in some fights on SNES.
But I don't think the red dragons are like the really big thing in SNES that are just terrible to try and run away from. They're not as bad here, but that's good because they're just horrendous in SNES.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's a few items that we used to pick up along the way here. We just passed one where we used to pick up a bunch of Fuma Shurikens, picked up some elixirs and an X potion, I think, along the way. Actually managed to work a way to get around a whole bunch of attacks that Jeromus does, and you can kind of skip those. Also, the fact that Edge doesn't really have time to throw Fuma Shurikens because he's going to be busy helping throw the Spider Silks. So you kind of lose out on that damage, but you also need to get that speed down before the first Big Bang happens. It's like Nicky's almost in the final dungeon. Rupan's working his way there. It's just a race to the end.
Yeah, everybody within about 5 minutes-ish. Very good. That is an amount of time, by the way, the final boss can decide to equalize if he wants to.
So that's just the time, the cutscene before the final boss takes.
Yeah, that's about like what you lose if things happen. Yeah, I love this part, by the way, like especially casually, because like all the normal encounters have the boss music here.
And actually, a lot of the fights along the way here aren't really that bad, except that red dragon, so it makes it even better.
Preemptive? How boring.
Don't even get to see the laser attack. Okay, so we do pick up one elixir. Just in the event that we get hit with a... probably either a bio or a flare if we miss time a little bit. There's a couple of spots where Zik was showing that you can try and either throw an extra spider silk or get a little bit of healing going on. Double behemoth. You don't love to see that one.
I do notice that through Phantom experience, Rupan's chain actually caught up enough that he did get the level up. Fascinating. Impeccable routing.
That's got to be a whole lot of... We must have like just hit a threshold or something with that then, whereas the other runners have it where it's pretty comfortable. So he might be worrying a little bit more about some extra shadow experience, making sure only Fusoya is alive at the end of 4 Fiends and things like that. Zik doing the final menuing before starting the final cutscene, which you also don't get to auto battle through.
Come on, it's so epic. You can't just auto battle through this. Very relevant content here.
See, Fusoya's got the right idea. You need to start slowing on all these enemies. He knows about the patch.
I mean, a hold actually lands in this version. Oh, that's great.
Blue Dragon can be kind of nasty as well. I don't think they're as bad as the red ones, but they can do a blizzard attack whenever one that hits pretty hard.
Yeah, they are not as strong, but they have more HP.
The Little Murderer is probably one of the... Well, it's slow, but you know you're not going to be taking damage off of it. So it's kind of a push for pull. Ahriman usually aren't terrible. They can do a Doom countdown on your character, but I think that's always their opener attack. Rupan deciding to grab the Protect Ring. So I'm gonna guess he probably slaps that on Cecil then. Because I saw Zik and I don't think Nicky grabbed it either.
I'm gonna try to say, usually what we do on Cess is we put that on Rosa.
But Kane's gonna already be held up with that power armlet.
Yeah.
Alright, Zik's getting ready for the final fight here. Which, when all... You'll see they're talking to your whole party, everyone who is not dead, even though we all thought we're dead. You can auto-battle through that part.
Ha. It's time to pray. In every way, really.
So I'm kind of curious to see what the whole setup is if we do anything before the Crystal Throw, or if it just goes straight into Crystal Throw and then after that.
Destiny, take me.
Be nicer, Romus, indeed. Yeah, this is one of those games where it seems like final boss fights in Final Fantasy games are either really easy or really not. And it seems like there's usually not a middle ground.
Alright, here we go.
So we're throwing the spider silks.
Yeah.
And creating the flares. Hopefully they're not getting thrown on people who still need to throw silks.
You can see this guy's fast.
We got 2 off. I'm not sure if he's going to try and throw a third one on later on, because it is pretty tough to get somebody up and have them throw it before a Big Bang. But now it's basically watching him shake, because he'll do the shake and then he'll do the Big Bang afterwards. And we're basically trying to jump over top of every single Big Bang along the way. He'll also do a bio afterwards. That's the phase who...
This is for all the Dragoon memes on the internet.
Okay, so he is opting to try and get another one of these out.
Third one, yeah.
Good old
Reasonable.
run buffer. Ooh, you love to see it. So we got the third one on, so we're pretty happy about that. And even though we have the Avenger on, we have complete control of Kane since all of the elements that were, all the status ailments that we have coming into this fight get negated. So we get the buffs of the Avenger without having to be berserked, which kind of works really well for us. Now we're basically waiting to kind of see... You'll see him heal himself for 9,999. That's when we know we get into the next phase, and his scripting will change up a little bit. And then he'll start throwing out flares as well, which we have to try and avoid. This is a pretty tight fight for just when you actually need to do it. A lot tighter than it used to be. We used to even be able to throw some chip attacks in. But with that extra speed, it's not possible. Because we're even at a higher level and it's still tight.
And
So-
3 spider silks.
Yeah, hence the 3 spider silks that we used to not do. So it didn't dodge the bile, but it's not a huge deal because we have time to jump over it. This is why we grabbed the elixir and may have an X potion in there. But the jump is always the giveaway for the Big Bang, which is... Like, we don't care if we get hit by the black hole. We don't really have any buffs that he can take away. Which is all that really does. Nicky's just starting the fight. Rupan's just getting through the final cutscene there. Now, unlike Rubicante or Four Fiends, this is one of those, like, it's also a clencher fight, but this one's also the worst just because you have that whole cutscene you'd have to go through as well.
Phase change.
So now we're going to start seeing the flares that we can hopefully get around. You'd think that Zeromus would kind of figured out right now that maybe he should try and attack it in the air instead of just on the ground, but here we are, jumping over top of everything. Now Nicky's getting into the meat and potatoes of the fight as well. At one point we're going to have 3 people on a boss fight. And there's going to be no one on the screen actually fighting it. So once we start to get into the medio phase on Zix, we know we're in the final part of the fight. And then it's basically just go to the end, and once we deal enough damage, then you kind of win. As soon as you kind of dodge that first medio, I believe the timing is still good enough that you can just mostly auto battle through it and avoid all of them. Rupan getting his spider silks out as well. 3 is the magic number.
Some extra damage from Cecil there. And he did live through the first Big Bang, so everything he did with the levels and stuff was definitely free here. But Zik is on Meteor. Very close to time.
So yeah, he does have the timing down where it looks like he should just be able to rocket through and...
Ha, I got it.
You love
And
to
time.
see the meteor miss.
Time for Mog.
GG's to Zik.
GG.
simultaneous black holes between Nicky and Rupan. There's probably going to be a few of those if this time's up or lines up pretty well. Nicky probably getting close to the phase change here. You can always tell when you see the 9,999, just to let you know, because basically Zromas gets his HP down. Once he gets to a certain threshold, he refills it up just like he did in SNES. Except you didn't get to see that 9,999, so you just kind of guessed when it happened. So I don't think there's any visual cue other than maybe an ATB halt, which you don't even get to see because you don't see the ATB bars.
Yeah, you don't see it at all.
Okay. Starting second phase after the heal, it should be easier. It's a big timing part with waiting and calculating like 0.3 to 0.4 seconds is only first phase.
Like Rupan's dodging all the bios just like Nicky did. Guess it save you a little bit of healing time. Because you definitely don't want to go into that meteor phase low HP. So you saw it did a pretty good amount of damage.
Yeah, the problem with phase 2 with the flares doesn't really have a time to heal anymore, and if you're at an HP where one meteor kills you...
Just dodge all of them, easy, right?
I am not actually sure what to do yet. Like, you just really don't want to be in that situation.
Yeah.
Why deal with said situation when you can just not have to deal with said situation? It's easy. And if you guys are loving this Dragoon action, oh boy, just wait until Final Fantasy
All right.
3.
Meteor phase. Time to get ready for Team Choco.
So you pretty much get hit by that first meteor then every time, eh?
Yeah. Need a force jump, sometimes 3 are enough. That's alright. And time.
GG.
GG's, Nicky.
3-minute PB. We take
Rupan,
this.
unfortunately, the last one to go, didn't quite get through it. So like I said, you'll have to go through this whole shebang.
Yeah. GG on the PB, Nicky. You know, continuing the PB train of this relay.
But this was just an amazing run with the exception of like dying to a door, having to redo 2, and then the 2 bad ambushes on the way back.
Very nicely done.
Rest was just a bit of grinding, a bit of Ruby. I mean, we know Ruby.
No
Yeah, so-
pressure to CC runners, but we're on a PB train right now.
Mine was like a 14-minute PB.
I see. I see.
Yeah.
Gotta love the new patch, eh?
Alright, yeah, chat, I need you to give Rupan strength here.
Yeah. We were all scared about Zeromas just being such a big game changer.
Yeah, and ironically, like, Rupan was the one, like, from what I've seen, like, constantly uploading videos on how to make this fight better or time stuff.
Yeah, Rupan and Shigeru have been definitely working the most on it.
Yeah.
I think it was that situation of being hit with the bio or a flare and just not being able to recover
Yeah.
from it after that.
Yeah.
If you get hit by a late bio, then you like usually you have a chance to heal in phase 1, in the like bio phase. But once you get to the flare phase, healing is tough.
I think we can use the time real quick, because this will still take a little bit, and the start of the fight is going to be roughly the same as last time for the Crystal Chronicle commentators to introduce their run real quick.
Okay, sure.
If they want to, of course.
Hi. Hello. My name is Boss Ogre. I will be here providing context and commentary for you for this Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles speedrun. I used to run it once upon a time. Now I just sit back and let other people do that and chat about it.
I'm ODW. I also used to run this game a lot, but I kind of messed up my hands a bit, so I don't do it as much anymore. But I'm just here for general commentary. Yeah.
Hello, I'm Webmiar. Just call me Web, whatever that's easier. And I'm a tester of that game, and I still test it. I did some RTA runs, but I'm not very good at it. So yeah, that's what I do. I do tests.
It's not an easy run.
Wobmia, aka Wob, aka Wobby Wob, is the heart and soul of our small community, who blesses us with plenty of levels.
I would vote more on Maniac Claw is working a lot more than me, and even Killer Orcast that is actually running right now is doing a lot of work on trying to improve the runs too. I'm not really
Regardless, you're still our technical expert.
Somewhat, yeah, for a lot of things. But here's the thing with that game, is that Tess is not very influent on RTA due to the RNG nature of the game. The game is very RNG, so the human element is...
Yeah, basically it's one of those games where with the task, you can quite easily just perfectly manipulate all the RNG that you want, because it basically just cycles every frame, and if when you load the dungeon, it determines what all the chests have in them and stuff like that. So if you don't like what you wanted, you just wait one more frame and just keep doing that till you get exactly what you want every time.
Yeah, well, there's a bit more complexity to it, but that's a TLDR thing. A task will manipulate RNG. That's the TLDR. So I can create routes that would be wildly different than RTA, basically, just because of that.
Final Fantasy 14. If you all have anything you want to finish up with here, you can go ahead.
Well, looks like Rupan got the 3 early silks going. Looks like he's kind of got a pretty good start to this fight. Just about to work his way through the first phase here with the bios.
So far, so good, yeah.
Actually went really lucky with the who was being hit. Cecil, turns out, does in fact die to the flare, and it wasn't even close. It was like 2,700 damage that it did on him.
Damn.
So I'm gonna guess it's either for a speed thing or possibly a Big Bang thing. Yeah, I saw that, I'm like, well, that's definitely not it.
Yeah. It's like a track.
Yeah, just waiting on same thing, waiting on the shakes, kind of doing the hits. Black holes are fine, so again, they don't really do anything. If you were buffed or whatever, also would take it away, but don't got any. The SNES version, you end up putting a whole bunch of, you'll reflect Rosa with Wall, and then you have to try and time a holy spell on her. And then reflect it back on his Roma so he doesn't hit her with a flare. And you have to try and all do that between black holes, which is fun. For a lack of better words.
That's one way to put it, yeah. Very, very loose definition of fun there, but yeah.
And then you just kind of hope you don't get damage rolled along the way. And we are in the next phase here, so Romas did get healed up. So we're in the back half of the fight. Trying to avoid the big bangs and the flares at the same time. Once we see that media, we pretty much know that we're home free.
Oh.
Might have got the scripting.
Yeah, that was... He might have not seen the refill. Oh boy.
Oh, he's full sending.
What do we need to do now? Yeah, no. Oh no!
Like Nicky was saying, it's really tough to try and get a heal in it by this point.
Yeah, you basically can't because he's too fast, even with the 3 spider cells. Very slight misplay there. Probably not noticing that the face changed actually. Because it looked like he was waiting for a shake when there was not going to be one.
So while we go through this, we can send it back over to CC for a bit.
Well, do we commentate on the current runs going? Or we can just do an
both of the other
overview
runners are
of-
pretty far ahead now.
Yeah, and they are starting to get ahead. Maybe we can just talk about like what's the game and what's the difference with the main series and such.
Yeah, we can talk general strategy and stuff. That'll be fine.
Yeah, well, basically that's the game is it's not like turn by turn. It's really like it's basically a hit and run game, and like it's so RNG that most runners will need to adapt to whatever is happening on screen, like the enemy's behaviors, and that's what makes the game very hard sometimes, because you can be screwed up by RNG quite easily.
Yeah, being an action game, there's a lot of stuff that can go wrong in the second-to-second moments, more so than trying to be able to memorize a pattern. The bosses are gonna do what they want to do. You can't really manipulate that. And Grizzly Chronicles itself is pretty divorced from the rest of the mainline series as its own little spin-off. You'll still see familiar elements. We've still got Holy, we've got Cure, we've got references to Chocobos. It's still all here. I mean, you see Malboro on the screen right now.
Yeah, they take months to.
Sorry about that. Around the same time as Final Fantasy IX was when this game came out. It was a little bit later, and I think a ton of the art and enemy names and styles and everything was, not... They weren't shy about the fact that it was a lot of the same art. The concept stuff.
Hey man, it's fan service.
Yeah.
So basically, the game is like, I'm not seeing like the chat right now, but the Twitch chat I mean, but basically you'll see runners start the game with they play with the GBA. The reason for it is because there's glitches that are exclusive to GBA, and they do those glitches at the start of the game. So like,
yeah. So Crystal Chronicles was a game. It's a game that was produced almost in a way to sell the GBA link cable, which was Nintendo's attempt at the time to integrate the GBA with the GameCube, where you can plug it into your GameCube and use it as a controller, do some other stuff. In this case, it's for being able to do 4-player multiplayer and still have your inventories available separately. The implementation of this means there are some slight problems when it comes to the Japanese version of the game and its connectivity, which allows us to break some very certain things to get probably the largest time-saving glitches available to this game.
It's basically called letter glitch. So basically you can open a letter and then exit the menu, but the letter will still be opened, which is not supposed to happen. So when you re-enter the menu, well, basically a lot of things are broken in the menu. So the two glitches that are the two main glitches that are useful are IGG that Killer Orcas is actually doing right now, where you can multiply your gold. And the other one will be after IGG, that is called GES, which multiplies your weapons, basically. But well, like in more details, it's that you are able to equip weapons in the armor slots and things like that.
Yeah,
And
IGG for Infinite Guild glitch, which sounds, you know, it's exactly what it sounds like. Since you can duplicate items as much as you want, and then, you know, money is an item, you can just duplicate your guild until you have all the money
Well,
you need.
I don't think you can duplicate items, right?
Well,
anyone on the way to duplicate items?
Specifically guild is what I meant. But
yeah, I think it's just guild for now. It's just
you
guild.
can drop money from your inventory onto the ground and then pick it back up, but you drop more than you pick up, or you know, you pick up more than you drop, so you end up with lots of money. And then GES is GBA equip swap, which is, you know, we can probably explain it in more detail at some point, but a very short overview of it is, you know, it's not unlike other games where we figured out menu and inventory manipulation and stuff. You need to get certain items that have certain memory values and they're in certain locations, like slot number like 11 or whatever in your inventory slot. You do this combination of things and then it breaks and you can equip items in slots they're not supposed to be able to be equipped in. You can like equip 3 weapons and not have any armor, and your strength gets really high. And that's basically a summary of it. Lets us break the game pretty easily.
Yeah, the main issue, well, it's not really an issue, but in GS can do all of that in theory, but it's very complicated to make the menus like act like you want. That's why the players will have weird names. And like, because you need to only some letters will prox the GES glitch correctly, and also like we worked a lot over the last years to try to find setups that are better for the runners, and I'm pretty sure right now Killer and Very Sydney we're using the 1 GBA setups, which are not necessarily the best, but they work. And the fact is, all the setups are a bit different. You just need to find some that work, and sometimes it's hard. Like, you will not see them equip 3 weapons. I mean, like, you will not see them having like 4 weapons at once, because we didn't find any setup that can do that yet. Well, especially for a speedrun, but it's like theoretically possible, you know.
Yeah, and one, I guess, other thing to point out is you'll notice, if I'm not mistaken, in this year's relay, all 3 runners are going to be using the Lilty race, which I'm pretty sure last year all 3 of our runners used different races. Of course, that was the remaster version, but I guess it's worth pointing out, from my understanding, the main reason they're all going to be using the same race is that with this GES glitch that's relatively new to the game and to the speedrun, it just so happens that out of all the different setups that we've found that are viable with your inventory and whatnot, the Lilty just has a specific setup that just works faster and gets you better stats in less time. So, like, why would you not play it?
Well, not necessarily. The reason Lilty is used with 2 GBAs, you explained it well, but with 1 GBA, Lilty is not necessarily better than Selkie. So the reason they use Lilty is because they want, because since GS gives you so many strengths, you can skip Master's weapon.
Alright, I
And
guess it's time to
there-
chime in shortly, because Rupan is on the final stretch in the medio phase.
Just a few more to go here, and then he'll be able to take it out, and then it'll be all CC. So from this point on, we basically just let the auto battle just work its way through. Made it through the gauntlet of early Zeromish shenanigans.
And that's
Now we're just, and then we win. GG's.
GG's. Just in contrast, a week ago, all three of us did runs and no one got it first try. So, phenomenal runs all around.
Yeah, good runs from all. That was fun to watch, fun to commentate, and thank you guys for having us on.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you very much for having us. Very good job from all three runners. A bit unfortunate for Rupan at the end there, but very well played, especially considering, like you guys mentioned, this had to be done on like a pretty strict, time limit, like, and the patch hit like very hard. So, very well done.
Okay, and thanks you two for joining the commentary. I hope I kept myself out for most.
You did good.
Didn't need to, but yeah. Alright, and with that, I think, unless Zick wanted to say something real quick, we can fully throw it over to Crystal Chronicles. You guys enjoy your run, and of course the rest of the relay. It's been a pleasure, and yeah, have fun.
Thanks. GG's.